Oh,
Hello, everyone.
Matt's in the chat.
Hello, everyone. How are we? Welcome to the Chocolate Milk Social Club. We're fancy. We're drinking it out of wine glasses here. Let me remove this other camera from Brad real quick. I know you guys want to see more of Brad, but how is everybody?
The quad cam.
The quad cam. The bicep cam. How is everybody? Don't mind us. Hope you all got your chocolate milk ready. Uh-oh, we got Matt in the chat. Matt Seaborn in the chat.
Ike here. Oh my gosh, Sean's here.
Whoa. It's like something special's going down today.
Sure,
yeah, we'll bring the Brad cam up in a second. We'll
Matt,
actually
call Aaron and wake him up.
Albert Comics, how's it going? Bear, how's it going? Hayashi has been in here for 3 days now. Oh, come on, guys. Russell. We're 20 seconds in and we've already got the dog barking, so it's all good. This is not a professional, it's not professional by any means.
But it's no different from every other comic creator.
It's exactly. Dogs are going to be running back and forth. It is what it is. Now, when the cat comes in and starts barking, then we got some shit to worry about.
Close it on them.
It'll be fine. They'll be all right. They're fine. Don't worry about them.
Okay.
They're fine.
I've got a hold of my chocolate milk. They're not going to spill it.
All right, so we got a lot of folks in here right now. So Hayashi's been in here for 3 days. Corey's here.
Hayashi's been here since we dropped it a week ago.
Corey, guys, Corey is skipping on a tractor pull to be here, so you guys need to tell him how appreciative you are of it.
It's shocking how far north Iowa is, but also how southern it is as well.
Ain't that the truth? We got Mark in here, Hallowfield, Jonathan, Papa John Ikers in here.
I kept my word. I got my 4-inch board shorts on. You just can't see them because
there we go. Yeah,
I'm locked in.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I actually moved myself over in the camera so that you could see more of Brad's quad action and his calf action.
Work on it all day for you guys. But are we drawing first or?
I've got a little itinerary here.
Okay.
So first thing we're gonna do is everybody needs to raise their chocolate milk glass. I keep covering you up. Everybody needs to raise their chocolate milk glass. We're gonna toast to
Matt, it's okay if you got tea.
We're gonna toast to a good stream here. Do a little swirling action. Take a little.
I have no sense of smell.
Take a little sniff. Brad can't smell it, but it smells amazing.
Yeah.
So.
A votre santé.
Here's to a good stream, folks. All right. So.
I could not have pants on.
That helps.
It would all be fine.
You never know if Brad has pants on or not. It's fine. So we got a few things on the itinerary today. Couple things we're just going to sit here and chat about real quick, and then we will jump into the sketching portion where I'm going to be drawing Ryan Stegman and Donny Cates' new character. Actually, what's his character's name? Is named after his 2 kids. It's Oliver.
Vanish Man? Oh.
Yeah, it's named Oliver. I can't remember his other son's name. Oliver and Company, basically. So, I'll be sketching Vanish today.
Mark, we'll get you out one day. You and I'll have to figure out a topic so we can just talk the entire time about.
Yeah, literally, I'm just gonna hand the microphone over to Mark when he gets here, and you guys are just gonna do your thing.
But right now, I can talk about how Sue Storm and really wants Namor, and he can't say anything in return. Have fun typing in the chat.
First thing on the agenda today is we need to address this. We need to address this, guys. If you guys had to take one guess at who this was, I need you guys in the chat guess who this is. And no, it's not me and Brad. This picture was sent to me earlier this week. It got me through a whole day of work. I've just got to say. What is that?
Oh, we don't do chains here. Throw a.
Okay, so
you knew you messed up sending that to us.
You should not have sent that to us. Oh, hot damn.
Oh,
so this is everyone's favorite inker, Corey King himself, on the job, looking magnificently sexy, if I do say so myself. Yes, this needed to be addressed. I hope you all enjoy this. I know Mrs. King enjoys this.
Actually, I think it's responsible for 3 of 4 children.
If you ever wondered where all the King children came from, is this one picture. It sums up a lot. All right, let's bring that off of there. I know. It can only go downhill from here, but
Hey, Aaron.
So I guess I won't bring it up till he gets here. So we'll have a special guest here in just a second, but
It won't be as cool as Greg Capullo.
it won't be.
Favorite inker, Mac, you've been Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot.
Man, we cut him down. We sprung him. We did not tell him we were going to do that.
We sure didn't.
We had to give him some praise.
So, all right. I don't know how I'm gonna top that, but the next thing, we'll talk about it real quick, and then we'll get into the drawing of the winner.
Walmart, Sam Club Mario. Oh, sorry.
That's
Oh my
good
God.
shit.
Oh my God.
Dwayne's in the chat. He said Abby's got him. All right, so I'm gonna bring this up real quick. So this is the character I'm gonna be drawing. Most of you in this chat have to know what's happening with Ryan Stegman and Donny Cates taking Vanish to Substack and doing their whole KLC press. So it's not any news to you guys. But here's the cover. If for some reason you've been living under a fucking rock for the past month,
I think our Venn diagram of Scoot and Stegman fans is a circle. So everybody knows what this is.
So this is what I'm gonna be sketching today, and I'm gonna go ahead and preface with that there's not much art of him out there right now. So I'm going to be taking a lot of I say a lot, I'm going to be taking some liberties with it. I'm going to be referencing this picture and anything that Mark Silvestri drew of the darkness. So, because they are very similar characters. Okay, so let's pull that down. I'll bring it back up in just a second. But we do have a drawing to get to. So
Oh, we have 2 drawings. Wordplay. That's why I write.
So real quick, let's talk about the drawing. So I hit 1,500 followers on Instagram, which is pretty awesome. Thank you guys so much. As of starting this, I was at 1875, so you guys are like not stopping, so I really appreciate it. And then Corey hit his 1,000 follower milestone.
Yeah, he's over it now. He's
definitely over it now.
On his way to 1,100. After that picture, he's probably further along than you are.
All of a sudden, he's got that 21,000 follower train happening. So
that's not the only train he's gonna have with that.
But all right, don't worry. I'll bring the picture back up later. You guys look forward to that. Stop. Eat yours. All right. But the reason we did the giveaway was for those 2 milestones. So I'm going, some lucky person, if they like our art, they're lucky, will win A piece of original art penciled by me and inked by Corey. So I'll pencil it whatever character they want. It doesn't matter.
So is it gonna be head and torso, or
So here's the kicker. It'll be a head sketch. But if we draw it and they're in the chat and they say, hey, I won, they let us know it's them, then they get a torso up sketch instead. Hang out right there. It's almost time for you. Where'd you go? But real quick, the question we asked for people to respond to was name your favorite pencil or inker team, which oh my god, these dogs.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just come in here. Just come in. It's fine. I got oh my god, guys. King Duppy himself's here. King Duppy himself. Well, we'll talk about him in just a second.
In the corner, quietly.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in just a second. So the question we asked was, who's your favorite pencil or inker team? Because obviously we're a pencil inker team. And there was a lot of cool responses. A lot of people said that we were their favorite pencil inker team, which is pretty rad. Top choice was Jim Lee and Scott Williams. Go figure.
Yeah. Oh, what about the Beatles? How about fucking Beethoven? Side one, track one of the Fifth Symphony.
So that was probably the number one. We had a bunch of Stegman and JP, which was definitely a good one. We had some. I'm looking through my comments here to see some other ones, but most of them were. We had John Byrne and Terry Austin from Claremont's X-Men, so that's classic.
Oh yeah.
But real quick, I don't know if you have a favorite, Brad, but I think mine. Let's say mine. I have a bunch of favorites, but I think one of my favorites, because Michael Turner's my favorite penciler. I loved when D-Tron used to ink his stuff. So that one always stands out to me. Who else used to ink Michael Turner? Oh my God, where's it at? Hold, please. So I'm kicking myself now for not remembering this.
Yeah, man, I got this shit finally at work. Reminds me of what like lo-fi was when it came out before lo-fi.
Joe Weems, Michael Turner and Joe Weems. So
became just like people pumping crap out.
You got a favorite?
Man, I don't. This is gonna. I'm so sorry.
Brad's a writer, guys. I'm sorry.
And Corey, Mr. Mustache himself. I know artists, but I'm really bad with inkers. So I know artists I like, and sometimes you can tell when someone else inks them. But I know anybody who inks Lionel Yu and has to deal with his like crazy sketchy style that's so wonderful. Whoever they are, they deserve an award. That's all.
All right. So real quick before we get into the drawing. So our friend Dwayne just walked in. That's King Duppy. He just had an album drop today. It's pretty freaking rad. I'm gonna bring up the Brad cam, guys, because you're gonna get to see Dwayne over there. Nope. Where is he?
Maybe.
Go sit on the couch, bro.
Oh, okay. Sit on the couch. I'm a ghost, though. I can't be seen.
So, wave to the people, Dwayne.
Oh, you should have worn a helmet like Daft Punk or something.
He's
I have my mask in the car.
So Dwayne's a real good friend of ours. Been a good friend of ours for a long
Got a lot of
time.
masks here in the South.
All around handsome guy. And really talented. So I have in the description to the video, there's a link. There's a couple different links to his new album down there. And it's called Real Estate Agent. It's pretty freaking rad. This is the album art for it right there. So check it out. It's on all your favorite music streaming outlets. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music.
Anybody
YouTube.
I know that we got a couple of folks who write in here, and man, it is going to be my music for the next like 3 or 4 months, and so we can get both of us.
Yeah.
And it's solid, man. It's a good. It's I don't know. It's something to just get in the groove, get vibing, feeling it, and just play along.
Kind of what I made it for. So, and shout out to Annie. She wrote the lettering for me. I got her.
Oh, did she?
So,
that is her writing. Whoa.
That's
Okay.
Annie's handwriting.
Hey, if you want to get like cool and indecipherable and be like that kind of hipster, you can let me do it because nobody can read my handwriting.
I should have reached out.
Brad, Matt said 22 people watching,
Yeah.
8 likes. You need to shame them. Sorry, Dwayne, what were you saying?
Not to derail your stream with
No, man, bring it.
details of my album, but the original picture was a picture of Graceland 2. Just because I thought it was funny, but then it looked like shit, so
So that's actually Dwayne's house in Holly Springs. I think Big Daddy lives there.
yeah.
So if you guys, hey Amanda, how's it going? So again, I have Dwayne's social media stuff in the description as well. So you guys go check him out, go follow. He wrote a little description like of what each song's about and where it came from. Because obviously it's all like hip hop beats and stuff. There's not a lot of lyrics. There's some sampling of
Yeah.
historic people talking and stuff, but his mind was in a certain place writing all these songs. So, and my dog's over here humping another dog. So if you see that, I'm totally sorry.
We just locked them up.
God, they need to be locked up somewhere. Okay. Hey, come on in here. Let's do this drawing. All right. So guys, we again go follow King Duppy. Come on in. Let me take the Brad cam down. All right. Grab cap. Miss Scoot's here. She's going to draw the winner. We always draw from Captain America. Remove the head. All right. And there's actually a good amount of entrants in here, guys. So thanks to everybody that entered. So, all right. Go ahead. One winner.
I think he said it's going to be 24 by 36.
It's not.
7 characters of your choice.
Poster size.
Says Dallas Rust artwork.
All right.
All right. There we go. Dallas Rust artwork.
Not the only
Yeah. Just one.
Dallas, you in the chat?
So-
guys.
Dallas, I don't know if you're in the chat. If you are in the chat, let us know.
Do we need to pan down for you, Aaron? Oh, man.
Not team up. So, Dallas Rust art.
All right, so are we doing that next stream or maybe 2 streams out?
Yeah,
I
probably
think we
2
have a
streams
plan
out.
for a next
So,
one.
so again, rigged. I'm so sorry, Aaron. One of these days you're gonna win something, I promise. So I'll reach out to that person, and if for some reason I'll give them 2 days. If they don't respond to me, then I'll randomly draw somebody else. So hang on, Aaron. You may. That's actually your
My name's Dallas.
Dallas.
I,
I'm from Phoenix.
I think the day him or Seaborn win, they both
Yeah.
win because I'm not paying shipping for one piece of artwork.
All right, guys. All right,
Everybody's got jokes.
Mr. Artwork.
Oh,
All right, cool, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this art. So Brad's got some show and tell stuff that should be pretty fun for him to show off.
it's not that rigid. I just thought since we're talking about, who's doing this to coattail on Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman.
Yeah.
We just talk about. I brought some of my comics. Clearly, not all of my Stegman collection because I've got quite a bit. But we got some cool art, some early stuff, some stuff that you guys I'm sure all read, and we'll just talk about it. Get some opinions going. Like I said, if it leads off into somewhere else, it leads off into somewhere else. It's just something for us to all talk about. I'm sure.
All right, cool. Any other last thoughts before we get drawing?
Matt Pity win is how I got all my girlfriends.
All one of them.
uh,
I'm in the same boat. All right. So let's
transitioning over now.
transition over.
All right.
So as you see, I've already laid out my canvas here with liquid white, a little bit of sky blue lines on here.
Oh,
So, I'm gonna try to
apparently
get
I'm gonna have to
this.
stand up and show off the quads. I could say I'm wearing a Speedo for you guys.
You
but
guys let
Speedo
me
and
know
board
if-
shorts.
If you want to see Brad stand up, I'll move the table.
We can do it at the end.
We'll do it at
After
the
my
end.
legs are asleep and I'll fall over.
We'll do it at the end.
Is this what the character's name is? Is Oliver? Does he have a secret
his-
name?
No, his name's Oliver Harrison, named after both of Stegman's kids.
Oh, okay. But he doesn't have like a secret name like Vanish
I
Man or
don't-
anything?
We
Okay.
don't know yet.
Oh, okay. I guess he is. We've got like 2 teaser pictures and that's it.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna let Brad do his thing. I'm gonna start drawing, and of course I'll chime in.
Yeah.
Dwayne, you're more than welcome to chime in.
Corey,
on
Corey.
anything.
No. Your mustache was something else. When I grow a mustache, Amber Alerts go off like 3 states away. Like, I cannot grow a mustache.
Stop pumping Sophie.
In the doorway, at
In
least
the
go
doorway.
outside.
All right, y'all let me know if my head gets in the way. You don't want to be in the way and my laser goes off.
Oh, yeah, Kirsten, we did the drawing. You just missed it. But don't worry. Scoot will hit 2,000 in like 3 days. We'll do another one.
We'll do another one at 2000.
It's funny. Before we can talk about Stegman, it's funny because not even 2-3 weeks ago, probably I guess not the last stream, but the one before that, Scoot and I were talking about how he just stagnated. Like his account, he'd get 1 or 2 likes, but he was stuck at like 12, 15 for the longest time. And he'd get like 12, 20, and then they'd go down. They'd go back up and go back down. And then he drew that damn picture of Deadpool. That 20-minute. Who suggested that in the chat or in your? Do you remember who suggested?
Just somebody on my Instagram
He
story.
responded. I feel bad. I don't remember his name because he responded to your thing and he said, "Oh, you took my suggestion." Scoot's like, I drew a 20-minute picture of Deadpool. I was like, cool. Nobody likes Deadpool. Boy, was I wrong.
That thing
clearly,
is.
I'm
that
kidding.
thing
I'm
is.
not a fan of him,
That thing is still getting likes.
but yeah, that thing. We were like, I wonder if it's gonna be, break the 700 barrier and take the wrist post down, and then it hit 1,000, and then we're like, is this gonna be the first one to hit 15? Then it hit 2,000, and then suddenly Scoot's follows went from 1215 to like 1,500 in the span of 2 days, and now it's still trucking. And as of today, you're what, 1871?
1871,
Which-
right before the stream.
I remember the day you hit 100, and we're all like, we've done it, we made it, we did it, guys.
We did it, guys. We
And,
can stop here.
I mean, it's something we always say. We appreciate each and every person who follows Scoot, especially. We're building stuff up. I'm trying to build up and post more with the Brute Studios account, which is linked if you want to follow us. But it's really crazy to think that, gosh, like I say, when we first started doing Instagram lives, we have like 2 people in the chat, which is usually me and Hayashi, really.
Yeah.
So it's really only 1 person in the chat.
The early Scoot Squad.
Yeah, the Scoot Squad, man, because it used to be him and Old School Playa and a few other people. And I mean, we steady in, 20 plus people the whole time, and certain demographic of folks come through. So appreciate each and every one of you. We don't have Seaborn numbers yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
We'll get there one day.
Yet. I'm gonna bring this up real.
Gamer's Guide. Oh, you colored his talent piece. Sweet. Yeah, a lot of people. What's funny is somebody suggested Deadpool. When Scoot first started drawing art, he was kind of out of comics. He would read them when I'd give them to him, and I'd say, "Hey, read this comic. It's popular." Or
I got
draw
the
this
Brad
character.
Cam.
It's popular.
I got the Brad Cam back up for you
And
guys.
he would do it. And then he got back into comics, and he kind of drew whoever. And he got you more than reading comics. You're plugged into the comic community.
Yeah.
So you like, hey, this character's hot. Someone draw it, and you still draw whoever you want or whatever. Oh, so you got an error up on your screen. I don't know what that is, but
Oh, I almost accidentally hit the scanner button.
oh, but
Okay.
I just want to make sure I didn't cut
Oh,
the
no,
stream
you're
off.
good. You're good.
But he kind of dialed
Yes,
it in and
Justin,
got
you
it to his
can.
own, and I would throw out suggestions, and then he did that Deadpool, and then Corey was like, yeah, everybody likes Deadpool, and you're like, all right, Corey, well, who should I draw? Well, draw Talon, and Talon
Alan's still getting likes every day
pulling.
too.
Yeah, he's just pulling. So it's Corey earned his PR position at Brute Studios. Sadly, as always, it came with no pay raise.
Simple lateral move.
Yeah,
Oh.
the lateral move.
Justin said he's been listening to Real Estate Agent.
It's good, guys. I'm telling you, it's
like it.
super good. I listened to it on my my bike ride this morning.
If you don't like Mark MKW, Mark Winchester in the chat once told me if I listen to Aquabats and don't like it, you don't like life. And I think that applies to this album too, because it's just a solid album that's fun. It's easy to listen to, and you can. I'm sure Scoot's been drawn to it. I'm gonna write to it tomorrow and Sunday. It's gonna be great.
It is. It's
But
really damn good.
Scoot is comic. Scoot is life. Scoot is love. We need that picture on here.
Yeah, we do. I'll find it and I'll post it. We'll do that one next. We'll make some fun of me, guys.
Yeah, I've got a meme of it that I made. But yeah, I guess we could just start talking about comics because we've gone through our appreciation, which we'll revisit. So all of you Johnny Come Latelys, I've been a Stegman fan for years, since like 2010.
And that's no joke. He introduced me to Stegman.
And joking aside, his run of Scarlet Spider with Christopher Yost is really what got me back into comics. Like, I was reading them, and I mostly bought trades here and there, but I saw that, and I was like, Scarlet Spider, not realizing it was Kane Parker and not Ben Reilly. I was like, oh man, Ben's back. So I bought it because, as everybody knows in this chat, I love clones. It's confusing. Spider-Man is best when it's convoluted. Love it. So I started reading it, and man, totally dug it. So I started buying it. I started buying all the back issues and everything. And if you look, let me see if I can find it. It should be issue 2, page 6. Great artwork. I mean, even if like his Venom artwork, maybe Absolute Carnage may be the best thing he's ever drawn, but he did a very cool run. And so we have this page, I think it's issue 2, page 6.
And that's why I have the Brad cam.
Of Kane Parker, the Scarlet Spider. He still hadn't accepted the name yet because he felt guilty about not connecting with his clone brother.
Hey, see you, Calvert.
But of course, that's what's behind my head here. Ugh. That is the original pencils of Ryan Stegman. Probably, if my house caught fire, I would throw on my leather jacket, put this on, and then try to save my cat. But I bought that. Fun story. I think I've told it before, but I studied abroad in Lille, France, which is in northern France, and I won a bunch of grants because I'm good at writing, and I wrote good essays, and people gave me money, and I used some of it to buy that Stegman art. And what was bad is I ordered it, and I had it sent to Scoot's house at the time, and I didn't get to see it for 4 months. Scoot would send me pictures of it, talk about how awesome it is. He kept it above his art desk for months.
Hoping it would never leave.
Another thing that came from that, let me see. I got to pull something up here. So when I ordered it, I ordered through Felix Comic Art, who does all of Stegman's art sales. And we didn't hear anything for, almost a month. So I messaged the guys, and I was like, hey, I just want to know, I really hope this didn't get lost. I was like, I really hope this didn't get lost in the mail. And they say, I got the thing back, and they say, oh man, my bad, Ryan forgot to mail it out. So when I get it, he gave me a few freebies, and in that was this page from I think it's Fear Itself, Dracula, where what were they called? Were they just called the Worthy? Where a bunch of people, the Thing, the Hulk, Titania, the Absorbing Man, all of them picked up the Serpent's hammers and fought for the villains. And it's really, I think it's a great page, actually. It's a fantastic page, but at the bottom, he's got little character, like, head sketches. And it's funny, because years later, he was, we were on the chat for the Supple Boys, and for their Patreon members, the Supple Boys had Stegman on for New Year's for, like, a special guest. And he was talking about that series, and he's like, yeah, I got a bunch of art. I'm not really a fan of it. I was like, whoa, I have a page of that. He goes, oh, I mean, no, it's great. It's like, well, you gave it to me for free, so you can make fun of it. He goes, oh, let me guess, I mailed it late. So, like, he understood his problems. Gamer's Guide, if you have a name you'd like to go by other than that, let me know. But that piece cost me $500, 500 USD. And
USDs.
It's worth every cent. And anything, if you've looked at Stegman's prices now, I got that for a steal. It might still go. I still think that if I decided to sell that, I could like clear $1,000 on eBay.
Oh,
no problem.
No questions. Yeah.
It's also the Stegman piece. Also want to do a video one day. I've talked about where I want to do a video about how to frame comic art cheaply or inexpensively, and still have a good quality. This I did not frame. This came from a professional framer in Memphis, Memphis, local Memphis company, and they did an exceptional job, but it hurt my wallet. And I've since learned, thanks to our brother in the chat, Kaiser Soze Bear, he helped us. We learned to frame and kind of do all of our own stuff. So one day I'm going to frame, I think what I'm going to do is do a video where I frame a piece of Scoot's art and this other page, this Hulk, Fear Itself, Dracula page, and then we can compare it to the super expensive versus, you know, which I guess it doesn't matter. It cost me $225 to frame it. Framing is expensive and it sucks. Don't do it. You can frame by yourself. It takes a tool that costs $20, and then you need like a frame that costs you $15, and the matting is $1. So we can all do that. Yeah, you're not wrong, Corey. His prices now, I wouldn't even know what to think. I would die. I remember the day when he was just doing warm-up sketches, and he'd sell them for $250.
Yeah.
And they were just, I guess, 8.5 by 11s sketch stuff. I mean, it's crazy, but that's what's good. And that's good for him, because I told people, like, we were talking about how much artists make, and I was like, his salary from Marvel is probably nothing compared to the original art he sells.
Oh,
because I mean, like I think Absolute Carnage, every page sold out as soon as it went up.
It did.
And you got to think, like, those pages were selling for hundreds of dollars, some of them thousands. A couple of them were like $10,000 for covers and were sold. I don't care if he got half of that, he's making bank. So yeah, yeah, I don't know if it'll be a framing stream. I might do an actual like video and edit and stuff. But we could also, I mean, we could do a stream too. It'd just be a little different. But yeah, so his art, super cool. I really got it. It's what got me back into comics. Christopher Yost was so like, he did so many great comics, and they didn't seem to get. I guess that's why he moved on and he's doing like The Mandalorian now. He's getting more credit for doing these crazy shows. But man, his comics so much fun. But that really got me back into comics, and I brought a couple to compare. So when Scarlet Spider started out, it had Stegman was the only artist. He was the cover and interior artist, and it lasted 4 or 5 issues, and then he moved on to something else. But he drew every single cover. The series ran for 25 issues plus a few tie-ins, and he drew every cover. So that's his first cover, and it's great. He did you can clearly see the McFarlane influence with his webbing. You can see it's a good dynamic Spidey pose, head a foot above the head, one flying in the back, the other coming down. Interesting is it's before he did the very dinosaur Stegosaurus signature. And then compare it to like his final one, you can see, you know, he's definitely almost more confident because there's more detail. He's gotten a little more gritty with it, but his webbing still looks fantastic, but he's kind of made it his own. Great cover from beginning to end. Like, I want to get a wall where I just display every single issue, because he did, like, the variant covers were cool sometimes, but Stegman's main covers, that book should have been a top seller. I mean, I guess being Scarlet Spider, it wasn't, but great story from beginning to end, and his covers absolutely killed it. Loved it. I couldn't, I once again didn't bring them all because that's way too many, but fun things he did, like he eventually moved on to Superior Spider-Man, which he talks about quite often. I loved his run on Superior. He did it for, I think, once again, like 4 or 5 issues. He kind of came and go. They started working in like Ramos again and a few of the other, like Staple, Bagley, of course, did a few, because he's in everything Spidey. But my favorite thing about this is this was his cover for Superior Spider-Man #1. And about a month later, he homaged himself on Scarlet Spider and even made sure right here at the bottom he put after Stegman to let you know he homaged himself. So I always thought that was really fun. I actually got a poster of this that Scoot gave me, really cool. I got 2 or 3 Stegman posters. So I love that he, and you can tell like he completely redrew it. Like it's got the same structure and everything, but even the webbing, every little detail is different. But really good, and they eventually led to Kane and Superior crossing over, which was really fun. Brought some more. I think Stegman later in the series, he went back. Of course, he was the main artist, but man, he drew 2099. Miguel, he drew him so cool, and I always loved those covers. Really, he did. I think he did at least one more cover of 2099, and always super fun. The one of him. With him up top and then Superior Otto down at the bottom, because of course everybody knows I love Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Otto's super good in it. really fun stuff he did. That was all leading up to Spider-Verse, which if you've never read, the movie of course stole the name, but Spider-Verse is crazy fun. But just some fun covers. We could go through interiors, but I don't want to do that. So getting into my hipster Stegman, I like Stegman before everybody else did. He did a Sif one-shot with Kelly Sue DeConnick, and this was, I can't even tell you, it's got to be before Scarlet Spider, but you can tell it's really early. His pencils it's not nearly as detailed as he does now. I mean, it's not bad. Trust me, that is a sweet cover. It's better than anything I could ever draw. I mean, I don't even have any critiques of it. I'm sure Scoot could look at it and probably give some feedback on it, of what he thought he improved on later. Not even say what he did wrong, but what he improved on. But super cool. And Kelly Sue DeConnick's awesome. Her entire run of Captain Marvel, I have that entire run, and I loved it from beginning to end. At Civil War 2, actually, I felt like they undid all of the work she put into making Captain Marvel amazing. Even like, gosh, the episode where she loses her like mentor and Rhodey and old Cap kind of console her. Man, that'll rip tears from me. It is awful. It is so good. It's so just like heart-wrenching and perfect. And then like Civil War 2, as much as everybody, I love Bendis. I'm a huge Bendis fan. He's one of my Trinity, but Civil War 2 was a rush job, I felt like. And I don't know, I just felt like leading up to it, they made it to where she was almost like so extreme with her views, and how she just like lost herself, and it didn't feel like DeConnick anymore.
I like that.
We'll continue on with some Stegman art. So Corey makes a good point. Is he always says, don't follow comic series, follow creators. And he's not wrong, because you'll find, like, I started reading Indestructible Hulk because Lionel Yu was drawing it. I hated the Hulk. The Hulk I always thought he was a terrible character. After Indestructible Hulk, I'm on board. It was great. You know, and you find it helps you get into stuff you never thought you would. So I followed this from the beginning, but Gary Duggan started doing the Uncanny Avengers. And that is where Stegman went into his famous noodly arms, I think is what he called them. Yeah. And, you know, until recently, we always wondered why he did that. He went from this very detailed, very, you know, comic realism, kind of like you do, Scoot, where you can tell it's clearly a cartoon, not a cartoon, but it's clearly a art style, but it's not realism. But he started going to this, and you can see, like, how their muscles look different, how the heads look different, how their faces look different. And I always thought that was a result of pressure. Like, maybe they were giving him so tight of a deadline, he was just rushing through it to try to make it on time. But he recently talked about it on Instagram, how it was just something he was trying. Yeah, he was trying something different. And I see it like, it's kind of like when your favorite band comes out with an album and you're like, this doesn't sound like them. But as an artist, you got to get bored of stuff eventually. I mean, there's people like Jim Lee who have the same style, and his style is so amazing, maybe he just keeps going with it forever. But there's nothing wrong with trying something different. He even said that he looks back on it fondly because he learned a lot from it. He enjoyed it. He had a lot of fun. And I mean, so maybe it wasn't his best art to some people, but I love the fact that he tried it, especially because Uncanny Avengers, they were pushing as the flagship. Like, that was above Avengers. It was above any X-Men. And he was like, I mean, that's like, I don't know, going to, like, there's like, you're gonna headline Woodstock, and you're like, cool, I'm gonna do an acoustic set, and you're like, you're a metal band. Like, you know, like, he had a style everybody was expecting, and he deviated to try something different, which is incredibly fun to me.
Yeah,
respectable, and in the end, it was still fun storytelling. And actually, fun fact, in somewhere in this Uncanny Avengers run, Deadpool's helping them break into a bank, and it's called the Starnes Bank.
Oh, for real?
Yep. So it's got our name in there.
We're famous.
Now, once again, he stayed on that for a while. I don't even know how long. Actually, he was still drawing it at this point. But right around Civil War 2, once again, not my favorite series, not my favorite event, but he started drawing these really great covers of Cable. Oh, and this one's really good. And then this one, I remember wanting to buy the original art for this cover where he's shooting the unfortunate Cap, the Hydra Cap, who I hate his shield, but those covers, were blowing us out of the water. I remember because I was kind of falling out of Uncanny Avengers, and Scoot was like, "Did you get this copy? Do you have this cover?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got it. It's there. Don't worry."
It's so good. I love that
Yeah,
one.
super incredible artwork. So like he was, I guess he got out of trying to experiment, and he got out of his college experimenting and went back to what he did, and it was exceptional. And those issues of Cable coming in and like kind of taking over the Uncanny Avengers were solid. So, which Duggan does a lot of good stuff. He's doing, I believe he's the one. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark. He's the one writing the mainline X-Men series right now. Oh, Aaron said he expects his. So I'm drawing him Captain America, of course, because he drew me Which, oh man, got Aaron in the chat. So this is my original art portfolio. It's things that I haven't framed. Some pretty cool stuff in here. Stegman, I got somebody to do a commission for Scarlet Spider because, of course, I like clones. Got a picture my sister did of Emma Frost for me. I collect art from. If you draw a piece of art and you don't want it, I'll take it. Actually, that's a picture of Thanos I drew, and then my sister colored it and made it look better. I drew it for Scoot, and for some reason I kept it. There's a guy I follow online on Instagram called Edbot, and I basically was his patron for 2020 and gave him lots of money to draw me all kinds of cool stuff. My latest, if you guys ever read the manga Urusei Yatsura, which is, if you ever need a master course in comic book comedy and wordplay, Urusei Yatsura is it. And he drew me Benton from it. So super cool, super fun. But somewhere in here, so yonder years past, there's this young buck on Twitter named Zathan something, who I don't even know why I followed him, probably because Scoop followed him. And I was just expanding our comic community. And he's like, "Hey, I'm doing commissions." And I messaged him and it ended up being old Aaron. So I got a commission from him. That was his first commission. I got him to do the Century. And so the Century, of course, is kind of in a wasteland. But to thank me for being his first commission, he sent me that baller head sketch of Captain Britain. And my British friend sends me a Captain Britain. I gotta send him Captain America back. So I've been drawing that. I just gotta get Scoot to help me out with it. I don't know if there's any other art in here people need to see.
I'd be happy to help.
Yeah, I mean, by help, I mean, I'm just gonna like blue line some circles and let Scoot fill everything else in. But yeah, so I got some, I love original art. Most of it's framed up, but that's the few I had. Oh, thanks, Dwayne. What else we got in the
We always
bag?
joke that Brad's the bank.
Yeah. So like that's the thing is Scoot and Corey were like, "Yeah, we're not doing international, are we, for this contest?" And I was like, "Yes, we are. I'll pay it if I have to." Which, man, we have dodged that bullet so many times, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So, oh man, we'll do this whole stack. So, Stegman, of course, drew all the covers for Scarlet Spider, and he did a Craven arc. Gosh, was his artwork awesome. Probably the most fun I've had with Craven. Definitely wasn't Spencer's run, but super good. Which I guess I need to comment. Like, there were quite a few artists on Scarlet Spider, and they all did darn well, man. Stegman did the covers, so maybe that overshadows at times. But let's see, artist David Baldeon. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of really talented people in that who just get slept on. And I mean, like, everybody can imagine, where is this at? When I'm sitting here reading and who pops up but Ben Reilly, and I am losing it reading that. Wasn't really Ben, it was Craven. But one of his, of course, Stegman can't get away from spiders. And if you read Secret Wars, Dan Slott and oh my gosh, who are the two brothers who their dad was a beast and they're beast now? Gosh, they're two comic artists. Adam, what's this? Help me out with this, Scoot.
Adam, I know an Adam Hughes.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Somebody's gonna send it in the chat here in a second. I I have a Annie bought me the variant cover from Avengers vs. X-Men with the Phoenix 5. Kubert.
Oh, Adam Kubert.
So yeah, one of the Kuberts, I can't remember which one, did Renew Your Vows during Secret Wars with Secret Wars 2014 with Dan Slott, and it was about Spider-Man in an alternate universe Spider-Man where him and MJ stayed together. They had a kid named Annie Mae, and he there's this thing that happened where Regent killed most of the heroes, and so he kind of hid being Spider-Man. The whole thing's about him coming out being Spider-Man again, and then MJ joins him and all that. But they did a series later called Renew Your Vows, where they just continued the story. Ran for 23 issues. Yeah, it ran for 23 issues before it turned into before it ran into the Spider-Geddon event that Christos Gage wrote, and they took that family and they were part of it. But Annie Mae Spiderling in it joined the Spider Girls, and they did this whole side quest thing. But he drew the first few issues. I think he drew at least most or all the covers. And he actually, somewhere in here, because Jerry Conway wrote the first few arcs, which Jerry Conway, of course, is a legend. Oddly enough, the only thing that's coming to mind right now is he wrote the Carnage series that introduced the new symbiote that we were looking at earlier. But
Jerry Conway killed Gwen Stacy.
he's the one who killed Gwen Stacy?
For sure.
Okay. So yeah, we've talked about him. So guy's a great storyteller. He introduced you to these Spideys, to the Spider family, and like you have Spider-Man, of course, and MJ Spinneret, and Annie Mae is Spiderling. I think she ends up becoming Spider-Girl later, but she's Spiderling to start out. But eventually in here, I don't know, I should have looked beforehand. This is sloppy storytelling on my half. Let's see. Maybe they should put his first name. But yeah, so issues 10 through 12 of this series, Ryan Stegman did not draw. He wrote them, which is super fun. And they're solid issues. I know he's talked about them, and I think he said it was a good learning experience, and he had a lot of fun. That was Brian Level who drew them. Nathan Stockman drew issue 10, but Brian Level drew those. And I remember these were coming out right when he came to Memphis Comic Expo, and that's when I got him to draw that picture of Samus for me.
Yeah.
And he was so unknown at the time. He's like, yeah, it'll be full grayscale. And God, that thing's like 9 by 12. And he's like, yeah, $60. And I was like, $60? How many slots you got open? Like, and so that was really fun. But about halfway through, so we're gonna get into like Big Lebowski. Bulk of the series was written by Jody Hauser. Stegman's still on art duty sometimes, doing some cool stuff. But Jody Hauser took over and wrote the rest of the series, and then wrote the Spider-Girl tie-in to Spider-Geddon, and it was absolutely fantastic. Like, I think reading this series, whether it was Jerry Conway, Stegman writing, Stegman doing the art, whoever, these like 4 trades made me feel like I was a kid again reading Spider-Man. It was fun. It was hopeful. It was different. It wasn't like, it's almost like a lot of times mainline Spidey stories, save for things like Superior Spider-Man, which is a huge risk. A lot of people play it safe and don't really go out of their way. I guess they don't try to reinvent the wheel, or they don't try to upset the order, because
It's dangerous too.
616 Peter Parker is supposed to be a certain way, and people don't like to try different things. Or maybe it could be the company leaning on them. But this one had no rules, and it even led to like later they aged up Annie Mae. They did like a 7-year time gap, or 8 years later. I guess I should have looked at the trade name. And it got really into like, it almost felt sort of like Mayday Parker Spider-Girl by Tom DeFalco, Ron Friends, and Pat O'Leaf mostly. It felt like that, where you knew the beats kind of, but they were completely different to where you didn't know exactly what to expect. A lot of fun. So I guess I'm just pushing Marvel. This is a Marvel commercial at this point. But if you ever want a good Spidey story, read it straight through. Man, I was so sad when they canceled it, and like, it made me like find more Jody Hauser stuff. She writes a lot of stuff for it's a D&D thing, like Vox something or other, but she does a lot of like tabletop gaming stuff and writes comics for that. She actually wrote a lot of Star Wars comics for Marvel, and they're fun. Like the mostly like when you like, who read any of the Marvel comics that tied into the movies? Nobody. I think I bought one because Christos Gage wrote one, and they're just tie-ins. But she wrote the Rogue One tie-in. The art's on point, the story's on point because she follows the basic story but fleshes it out where she could. Super fun. So that series was just like people bouncing around, and it was all stars. It was all so great. Let me check the chat here for a second.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it in a while.
Yes. Hubert there. See, Aaron. I knew Aaron would have me. Oh my God, man. That I'll take you off of our shared Google Drive for that pun. What else do I have? Stegman in here before we line him up with something else. So we'll stop fluffing that, and we'll talk about something I'm sure absolutely every single one of you read, which is Venom. If you haven't read this, I mean, I don't. It's like saying you never read Jim Lee and Claremont's X-Men #1. Like, everybody read that comic at some point.
It's pivotal.
Or it's like Big Batman. To me, like, this is a comic. Like, I buy so many Marvel comics, and I wasn't buying this. I just wasn't. I'd done the Venom Inc. tie-ins because I was reading Amazing Spider-Man at the time, but I'd gotten into Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man, which I'm not really big on. And Mark, of course, the Moriarty to my Holmes, was like, you need to read Venom. Cates is killing it. And I was like, all right, I guess.
Believe it or not, I was reading it before Brad.
Yeah, Scoo was reading it before me because Stegman was on it. He's like, yeah, it looks good. And I was like, okay. So I bought it. I think maybe Mark let me borrow his first trade or something. And I read it. I went back and I bought it. So other than 200 that's at my house, we have our entire run here. I don't know. What are you guys know this more than me? What are some of the expensive ones of this? 7 is a pretty popular cover.
7's the first issue or first appearance on Null.
Is 7 the first appearance of Null? Gosh, I thought he showed up way sooner.
A half cover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Grindel shows up more first.
Yeah.
But man, I wish I should have had a stand. I needed a book stand to hold this so I don't have to hold it the whole time.
Did.
And I'm so sorry, guys. Bags and boards are hard to come by right now, so don't.
It's a tough
I'm
world out
usually way more organized with my books. Yeah, I think mine are all first prints, so that's pretty cool.
And they were put in your box day one, so it should be.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I think that I was buying them and just giving them to you.
Were, yeah.
And then
'Cause
Mark was the
I'm
one who's
poor.
like, why are you not reading them before you give them to him? And I'm like, oh, my bad. And 3. So 3 is an expensive one. So there's 3. So looks like a first to whatchamacallit. I don't know what happens there. It's cool little things. Yeah, so we've got the whole series, so maybe we'll just do a drawing and give those away.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Oh, I could get out of here. I know how to handle art and comics. I'm not flipping them around with reckless abandon. They are perfectly safe. I sanitized my hands before all of this. But yeah, I think this was my first introduction to Donny Cates. And I am a huge Rick Remender, Cullen Bunn fan. I love Flash Thompson as Venom. I thought it was fun. I thought they took it in a different way. They showed him struggling with the symbiote in a different way. So I was going into this. I guess that's probably why I wasn't reading. I was clip-clopping around on my high horse, and as you know, high horses are usually donkeys. So Scoot and Mark finally tipped me over, and I started reading it, and I loved it because Venom had kind of, like in the 90s, he got so popular, he just became like the Wolverine of anti-heroes. And kind of got overdone and he wasn't as fun anymore. And this one is Donny Cates did something in a way kind of like all good writers do, but I think of like Jonathan Hickman and even Christos Gage with Hank Pym, how he did not excuse any of Venom or of any of Eddie Brock's history and made him deal with it all. So, gosh, the issue where you think he got hit as a kid by a car, and then it comes to find out he killed a kid by hitting him with the car, like that stuff is really good, and it really where it also hit home is, let me pull out something else here. I was an absolute huge fan of Jason Aaron's run of God of Thunder, Thor. What Rivik did, a lot of them, great to me. Like this is, I probably like it more than I like JMS's Thor, just because it's so over the top. I mean, just everything from him talking about gods who were so powerful they wrestled black holes to like, there's an issue where Thor goes to Midgard and just hangs out with like veterans and goes to like prom with or he goes to like the graduation ball for a person at S.H.I.E.L.D. and it's a love letter to why he loves Earth so much, and it was so good. I loved it. I liked Gore. Man, when if you've never read it, there's like a time travel aspect. So there's Thor the son, Thor the Avenger, and Thor the father. Not sure what he was referencing there with that Trinity, but he did a really cool thing where they all came together, and of course, Thor the Avenger and Thor the Father both had Mjolnir. So at a certain point, Thor the Avenger just picks up both Mjolnirs and is just dual wielding magical hammers, and it's just over the top, great stuff that I just love. And where Cates really did some cool stuff that like where Mark was like, Brad, you need to read it because there's stuff you're gonna like. And when I finally found out what it was is when he started talking about the all black, and he connected it to that Thor run, because at no point do they explain why Gore's powerful. They just he got this weapon that fell from the sky. And so the fact that he took that and made it feel so organic and so natural and linked it back to Jason Aaron's Thor run was magnificent. To me, that was a master stroke. He just blew me away with that. It's to me, that's what's cool is you find these little things that maybe weren't so well defined and you add to them. It's not a retcon, because Mark and I in our discussions described retcon as addition through subtraction. So you're trying to add something to make it cooler, but you take something away. A good example of that to me is at the beginning of Nick Spencer's run, he took away Peter Parker's doctorate that Otto Octavius got while he was in control of his body. And that being that doctorate had put some new fun difficulties and responsibilities in Peter Parker's lap that he had to deal with as Spider-Man and Peter Parker. And I think in an attempt to bring Spidey back to basics, Nick Spencer took that doctorate away. And to me, that was a retcon. It was addition through subtraction. And the best writers don't do that. And everything Donny Cates added to this book and connected it to Venom was exceptional. And not only that, but it did this huge payoff when Thor showed up to fight Null. Like, you were like, yeah, he's fought this guy before in a different rapper. Let's do this, boy. Like, he was ready. Like, that was Thor coming through, and he was getting a pull from that. Super cool. But he also addressed Flash in a certain one where he got the Codex and he took over Venom for a while. That page burst of Agent Venom coming to life again was so good. And I think that's what Cates does is he doesn't go as grand all the time as someone like Hickman who plans like, oh, I'm going to have 90 issues in the first 50 or build. He tells like each issue of Venom felt self-contained, not episodic. I guess episodic is a good term, but everything had a point. It had a beginning, middle, and end, but it all built to something bigger. There was no wasted issues. There was no wasted space. And like I said, he drew so many little things like that and tied them into like Venom. Who would have thought Venom would ever tie into Thor? Yeah. That's a crazy idea, but it worked out super well. And he even got in it with Silver Surfer Black and all these things where he started building a cosmic universe. It was kind of fun. But Venom, something that I think you can take from Venom where you say, hey, he took these little things. Something he did even better if we, I guess we can skip over all this. Oh, we're not going to go through every issue of Venom, obviously. But another thing he wrote was with Nick Spencer, actually. So there we go. I don't like his Spider-Man run. I'm not a fan of it. I shouldn't say I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. but he wrote Damnation. And if you haven't read Damnation, it's awesome. Damnation was really cool and really fun, like Doctor Strange story. Kind of like the arrogance of power. And if you don't know the setup, is Doctor Strange revived Las Vegas. Now, what happened to Las Vegas? Well, it's a crappy city, so Hydra, Captain America destroyed it during the Secret Empire run. Once again, if you've never watched or never read the Secret Empire event, once again, didn't work for me. I don't know why. I've read it a couple of times, and it wasn't my favorite thing. So, when there's one fantastic issue where Ultron Pym sits the Avengers down and makes them have like a dinner and be civil, and it is an excellent Hank Pym story. So that one holds up. I wasn't a big fan of the event though. I just felt like it didn't. Maybe the payoff wasn't there. Maybe I hadn't read all the Captain America that led up to it, so I wasn't really feeling it. But even when events like Avengers vs. X-Men was a thrill ride, it was literally just like a roller coaster. You got on, you screamed, you saw some fights, and it ended. It was nobody's ever going to defend that as like, oh, Avengers vs. X-Men is better than Watchmen. No one's going to ever say that, even as a joke. But what you do with that is where you can make magic. A good example in movies, Age of Ultron was not the best Avengers movie. I thought it failed on several levels, mainly Ultron. But what came out of that was so incredible. It built the first, it showed the first little phrase of Cap and Iron Man's relationship. It built a new Avengers team coming in. I mean, it set up the Infinity Stone. All this stuff that people played with later all came from Age of Ultron. Sokovia changed the structure of it. Great storytelling. And that's what Donny Cates did with Damnation, was he took the idea that, I forget what happened. I think they were like Las Vegas was housing some heroes that were working against Hydra. So they just leveled the city. So Doctor Strange came in and he's super powerful again. And he's like, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme. I'm just going to bring all Las Vegas back. And he brings it back with this spell. But by doing that, he allows an opening and Mephisto comes in and takes over Las Vegas. Leads to this cool thing where they assemble this team of Blade. I think Wong assembles the team, but it's like Man-Thing, Moon Knight, Jericho Drum, Bloodstone,
Russell,
Blade, and then of course I don't know if I have it here anywhere, but Ben Reilly and Kane Parker take place. Whoop, whoop, clones. So
clones, baby.
It was a really fun story that even led to other things like Johnny Storm. Not Johnny Storm. What the hell am I saying? Johnny Blaze taking over Mephisto's throne. So it led to a lot of stuff. So he took something that, in my opinion, wasn't a great event. It was a bust event, but he still found the core of it, the something amazing in it to build on, and that. I feel like Cates could do that with anything. You're like, here's the Hulk, and Hulk sucked for, let's say Immortal Hulk hadn't been blowing everybody's mind for the past decade, and it's like, hey, the Hulk's kind of not been doing so well. Cates, can you do something? And he would go back and find something small and build on it, and it would be incredible. I feel like he can build from nothing, because Venom,
he makes you really want to go back and read old stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and that's he does stuff where he'll reference older things that you want to make, like I said, you want to go back and fill in the blanks. It's not a like nostalgia circle jerk by any means either, because if you ask me, they did Venom, like they put Eddie back in the suit, and the issues before that were fun, but I felt like they were the same things from the 90s. There was nothing really bringing it to the table, and Cates got a hold of it. He's like, I'm going to do this. And he knocked it out of the park. I loved it. I loved what he did with it. And Venom 200 was a beautiful capstone to it.
It was a really good.
It was a stellar issue. We got a little more of him with Spidey. You got to set up the symbiotes and everything. Great stuff. So, like, his ability to latch on to stuff. I mean, and not only that makes it sound like he has to build on other people's stuff. He does plenty of stuff on his own that he just creates. But he seeds it into what already exists, so that he builds his own legacy while respecting what came before him, and it's really solid. Oh yeah, more Maker, of course. I love that. So that's another thing. How did I forget about that, Mark? How did you not scold me? He he brought in the Maker, super cool villain. I love it because he's supposed to be one of like 3 people who understood that the multiverse collapsed at a certain point. I think him and Miles Morales knew. And I think Jessica Jones figured out at some point in one of Bendis' runs. But he brought in the Council of Reeds, which is from our Lord and Savior Jonathan Hickman. In Hickman we trust. He invented the Council of Reeds, and he brought that back in. And now he set the Maker up to be a huge villain for the entire multiverse. And that's going to be, I don't know who's going to do it. Maybe Case will, hopefully. Hey, he's been taking care of the Maker right now. Let him keep going. Yeah, I think he's trying to revive the Ultimate Universe right now, Shane. That's what I heard. So yeah, okay, so Hallowfield makes a good point. He also writes great indie comics. I haven't read a ton. I've heard Baby Teeth is great. But I want to tell you, I'm going to tell you guys a bit of a sad story. It's going to start a little sad. So most of you guys know our dad passed last year. Not looking for sympathy or anything. He passed. It was good. I'm glad he can be free now.
Yeah.
But our dad had dementia, aggressive dementia. If you have never dealt with that, I hope you never have to.
It's something else.
It's something else. You lose the person who you've known your entire life. You lose your superhero. Mark Kevin goddamn Winchester and I were talking about it one day, because of course, unfortunately, Mark has lost his dad as well. But I'm telling him about how, I'm, dad's dad, but, he doesn't know me anymore. There was even a joke that me and my brother, I look more like my other brother. We dress the same to not confuse him as much. So I'm giving him this whole sob story about dementia and how I'm losing my dad to it. And that motherfucker says, read God Country. If you've never read God Country,
I still haven't read it.
It is a story about a guy losing his dad to dementia and having to deal with it. So, Mark's
like, boo-hoo, read this.
Yeah, speaking of horrible, soul-crushing moments, you should read God Country. So, needless to say, I read it. I finished the last page, set it down, went and stared into the sunset, fighting back tears as I wished that my dad could find a magical sword that he could hold and remember his kids and how much he loved us. But also, Mark may be an asshole, but he has fantastic taste in comics, and God Country is incredible. So, I'd hate him for it, but it doesn't matter, because in the end, it is a stellar book. Now, I haven't read it in the year since we lost Dad, so I probably won't for a while, but fun art, crazy original idea. The sword is every sword that ever existed, and it gets into, like, weird, like, I think Ares is part of it, and there's all this, it's just, he takes so much mythology and starts weaving it together. And if I've read right, it's part of crossover now.
Aaron said, damn it, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, so... But yeah, I was staring into the sun. I'm like, what's the sun gonna set? It's like,
I'm still gonna say.
but yeah, it's sadly I need to expand. But this is the only non-Marvel book of Donny Cates I've read. But if you're only gonna read one, it's not like I'm slumming. It's probably one of my favorite indie books. Like, or I guess non-big two. The people in the back who were praising it is just crazy. Mark Waid, Brian Michael Bendis, Terry Dodson, Tim Seeley. Everybody loved this book, and I think it's a movie or TV show coming up soon.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But just great book. So yeah, Mark's jerk, but he's got good taste at least. So, yeah, the swords and crossover. There we go. Yeah, you're right, Mark. It's a good book for non-comic readers. It's not super dialogue heavy, so it's like some people get into indie books and they're like, I can write whatever I want. They just write forever. But man, it's some stuff that hit home. Great book though.
Do you know if Donny Cates wrote that from like a family experience?
I don't know, but I know that people asked him why he said it, and he said, I wrote it because dementia is the enemy of storytellers.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than a storyteller losing their ability to remember. And that's like me. I sit here and talk all day. If I get dementia, somebody just pull my plug. Like, get rid of me.
Can you guys imagine a stream without Brad?
Yeah,
How quiet it would be?
How quiet it'd be. Yeah, Dragon Queen. If you can't find a copy, I don't know. We like Hayashi. He's a younger kid. He doesn't have money to spend. He can't spend his milk money on comics. I will send you a copy. It is so good. It is a solid, and I mean it's one volume, beginning, middle, end. Read it. It plays out great. But yeah, see Iker. He's out of here.
Past his bedtime. Thanks, man. Thanks for popping in.
It's 9 o'clock there. Got to put the gators to bed and just get the canoe off the Mustang. Get the kayak off. So yeah, I mean, Baby Teeth. Maybe I need to get into that. I know what does he write? Redneck as well, because he talked about. You know how hard it is being named Donald and writing a book called Redneck during the Trump years. But yeah, I mean, I gosh, what else have I read? Oh, well, if we're talking about what we read, now somehow we followed this from the beginning, but I can't find issue 1 of Thor that he did. Now, that Thor, I especially loved his first arc about the what is it, the Black Winter, or is what it's called.
Yeah.
You're right, Shane. I am a huge fan of Bendis's dialogue, and I loved it even before him. There was a rule of thumb that you only had like each character could only have one bubble per panel in all this mess, and he was just like, yeah, nah. And he just started daisy chaining bubbles across entire pages, and I love it. And I think that that's something that Bendis excelled at, was the character moments. Is like, if somebody had told me he wrote the scene, the party scene in Age of Ultron, where they're all just kind of hanging out with veterans and S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and then they're all trying to pick up the hammer, that is such a Bendis moment that is incredible. It's kind of like watching Iron Man 2 and you realize the entire hammer drone sequence Gendy Tartakovsky helped with. It makes sense. Started, but then my yeah, no, Aaron, I feel, and that's what I think is, if you can connect to something, that shows that the writer did a good job. And reading God Country, I read several books since then. I've watched stuff where, like, I've watched movies and they're like, the characters have dementia or they're Alzheimer's or whatever they're suffering from that makes them lose their memory.
Are you here at my house?
Yeah,
I guess Bear's right here. You can grab it. Did you not see him walk in?
No.
But yeah, like reading that, like I've read several books. Here you go. Okay, come into the screen.
Hey.
So this is our third
This
brother.
is our third brother.
He's this is Bear, Brian, whatever you want to call him.
He's called Bear because he was a hairy baby. Still is a hairy
Okay.
man.
Oh, it's good. You will love it. It's definitely a story you'll enjoy. So Shane, Brian Michael Bendis wrote so much good Avengers, and I have 2 trades left to buy. I need to buy Avengers Prime and his Avengers Assemble run he did, and I will have his entire Avengers run in trade, and I'm going to do a huge read through, probably spam the Brute stories about like talking about it. But man, I always say, what's the number one rule of the weekly BS stream? It's Norman Osborn is not Spider-Man's nemesis. It's Otto Octavius.
Always. I think we talk about
Osborn-
that once a week.
Norman Osborn has never been interesting except in the Dark
Spider-Man 1.
Avengers. Yeah, Spider-Man 1. Avenge me! But
Get out of here.
Dark Avengers,
Get out of here,
Bendis
Will
made him
Dafoe.
so crazy, and how he manipulated the Sentry, and how he, was losing his mind, how Loki manipulated Norman was awesome. Even how he thought he could talk trash to Doom and get away. He tried to kill Doom at a certain point. And I love because Doom, like, he kills it's like a Doom bot, and the Doom bot's like last words are like, "Don't step foot in my country or you sacrifice your life." And you're just like, well, he's not going across it. I guess his visa got revoked. And like Norman,
Man, can't buy nothing on credit.
Shane, I'm glad you said that. I've always wanted to read Avengers Prime, but I always saw it and I was like, I don't get what this is. It just seems like a little offshoot, but it's on my list now. And what I want to do is I've got it all set up in order. I'm just going to read through it all. And like, I always say, Avengers, I think it's Avengers Volume 4, Volume 2. So he does one with Kang the Conqueror, I want to say, and Ultron for his first arc. And then the second arc is the Hood going and collecting the Infinity Stones, called Infinity Quest. And that trade, Volume 2, is single-handedly one of the best trades ever. Like, I think it's my favorite. Let's not be best ever. We're not getting into quantifying anything like that. Whenever somebody's like, what's your favorite trade? I point to that because, once again, it's like a 6 to 7 issue story, beginning to end. The Hood, who cares about the Hood? The Hood is a Q list villain. He sucks. But how they build him up and how he starts.
out that thing.
Yeah, nobody brought an extra bag. But how he made the Hood a viable threat to the Avengers, and how he dealt with like the Civil War and the Dark Reign and all this stuff, he pulled it all together. It's so good. And then the Red Hulk coming in, super fun. I've read quite a bit. Breakout was fun. The Century Tear and Carnage in 2 was wild because like I love it because everybody there was getting served by Carnage. And that's the thing is people forget how strong Carnage is, and they had to 6th Century on him to get rid of him.
And David Finch drew that.
Yeah, David Finch drew it.
Shit out of it actually.
But yeah, Shane. Oh man, Shane's a Bendis fan. I'm Shane, blood brothers now.
Don't start the brothers now.
Yeah, that run is so good, and so I can't wait. I've read most of his run, but I just want to read it all from beginning to end again. And I'm going to start with the Mighty Avengers, because Mighty Avengers start. I think I need to do Illuminati, then Mighty Avengers, then Dark Avengers, then it's Siege, and then New Avengers. He has so many that I've got to figure out a way to put them together. I've never read Death of Inhumans, but I've heard it. I've heard that's pretty good by Cates. I heard that his pitch to Marvel was John Wick with Inhumans, and he was just like, "I'm gonna kill them all off." There he goes. Yeah, Mark got us. I like there's a crossover. So Stegman drew the series Inhuman, no S, for a while, and it was during that time where Marvel was really trying to like force feed us the Inhumans because they didn't have the rights to the mutants to make movies. And they did a lot of fun stuff with the Inhumans and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but the Inhuman run was super fun. They introduced a lot of really fun new characters. They didn't really focus on the royal family. It was a lot of fun. And then because Joe Mad drew that for a while too, and that's so that was really cool. But I loved the Inhuman run, and then it just kind of got to where you're like, man, I see what you're doing, and it felt forced. It felt like, man, it was good at first, and then it got to where they did like the Inhumans versus X-Men, and I was just like, you guys killed Cyclops, I'm done. He said, don't read comics, I just collect them for art.
It's funny enough, most of the comics I have is because of some kind of art something.
Shane said, I had a fun conversation with David Finch about the Breakout storyline, which is the New Avengers where he tears Carnage in 2.
Oh, cool.
And he said apparently Brian Bendis hates Carnage, and David wasn't sure about it, but he was like, do it.
Wow.
So that's awesome. And I love that. Like, I know David Finch left Avengers because he said he got so much hate over it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because it's such a big title, but I loved his art, and clearly,
I mean,
we're
David Finch is
he's
Finch on a level of his own.
Super good. Yeah, Dragon Queen. John Wick films are incredibly fun. I wish that the Expendables had kept steam in the same way the John Wick films have, how they kept their violence and over-the-top action instead of trying to go PG-13.
Did they really?
Yeah, I think the last 2.
Oh, whack.
Soft. They hit that point of coming in right before rated R movies were
Big.
Yeah.
back up, and everybody were doing PG because they did to Die Hard and killed the whole franchise.
God, yeah. But yeah, man, we got into a Bendis tangent. I'm cool with that. Some of Bendis' stuff at the end of his run in Marvel, like Civil War 2, I think he knew he was going out the door, and they gave him like 12 series, and some of them he was phoning in, but also like the law of large numbers meant he had some winners in there. So I've got quite a bit. I'm about to redo my comic shelves. I'm about to take. I don't have a TV. I have a monitor, and I'm probably about to take it and my Switch and my DVD, my Blu-ray player away, just so I have more room for comics. But Bendis, Hickman, and Christos Gage are all getting their own shelves, and yeah. Oh, and Expendables. I don't know. I'd watch a movie about a bunch of women shooting people. That'd be fun. Yeah, Shane. When we met David Finch, Scoot was nervous. We've talked about. He was like the
I was really nervous.
kawaii boy, and he was
Naruto-kun.
he was that little duck I sent in the group chat.
Yeah.
But he was just as cool as could be. Him and his wife were super cool. They actually, like, we have drink and draw at Memphis Comic Expo, and they didn't come because they didn't want to drink and draw. They went and had barbecue.
They didn't come because they knew I was gonna be.
Yeah, Donny Cates. The strangest thing is Scoot went and met Donny Cates, had him sign a book, and I didn't meet him. I just wasn't reading his books at the time, and I was just like, oh, okay. I think it was after Expo that year that you guys got me reading it, and I was like, why did I meet him? I talked to him for a second because he walked down our lane at the end, and he kicked somebody's table over.
Because Venom had just come out when that.
Yeah, and he super nice guy. He talked to everybody as he was leaving and stuff. But
Funny enough,
they said, "Is that your hero pose?" No, we all grew up sitting on the floor, so we just kind of hang out. Like
when we play video games, we still sit on the floor.
if I didn't have to be on like in frame, I would be on the floor sitting. But
like when I went and met Donny Cates, first I had him sign Venom, which I have right over here, Venom 1, and then I went to him the next day, and I had him sign a sketch cover that I was working on of Venom. Because I was like, man, I didn't get to finish it, but I'd love to have you sign it because it'd be cool to have your signature on some art of mine. Fast forward, that Venom's really bad now, so I've never finished it, and I spilled something on it. But, it's bad, but
yeah,
but he was amazingly cool. Like I was like, man, yeah, I'm trying to be a comic artist. I have a booth, and I was like, man, I'd love to be up here with you guys one. He's like, heck yeah, man, keep doing it. He's like, it's the best job in the world. If you want it bad enough, you'll get it.
that's when he's talking to somebody. He's like, yeah, I was in a couple of punk bands. I was like, oh really?
Yeah.
We're all shocked. I never would have guessed it. And yeah, but he was super. I mean, everybody I've ever met has been super cool. Chris Claremont he was really the only big name 2 times back, because it's been like 3 years now since we had it. But he had a line that was monstrous. But he never rushed anybody. He was super cool. Would sit and talk to him. He stopped, and my mom has the greatest, like, I don't know who these people are, so I just talk to them like they're normal humans instead of demigods. And she was talking to him about old Western movies and stuff, and just having a good time. I met Peter David at one of them. Of course, he wrote Hulk for like 35 years. He wrote the third volume, Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider, that had both of the clones. What? And so I sat and talked to him about that because they kind of cut him off with Spider-Geddon, and he was building up a lot of really cool stuff. So I was kind of picking his brain about where he's going. But he's just like this older gentleman, super nice, hanging out. Didn't even charge you for an autograph. He's just, yeah, cool, no problem. But Shane, jumping back a little, I actually, the first issue of New Avengers Breakout, that I got David Finch to sign that for me, and then I got him and Meredith to both sign a Wonder Woman. Actually, I had him sign the original of Wonder Woman 2014 that Scoot drew for him. He's like, hey, I think this is as good as yours, David.
I have it here if you guys need to see it. You let me know.
Maybe the Corey photo again, but not that.
It's a very dark character.
They said that's some blood and a coat, and Bear could be Oliver that you draw.
You could. Fuck. All right. Well, we know what he's gonna be for Halloween.
Bear is the master of last minute costumes. Like 1 year, he was growing his beard for like a month, and we're like, what is he doing? And if you know anything about us, we can't grow our beard over 2 days or it becomes awful. And he came out and was Freddie Mercury, so it had the thickest, most beautiful mustache. 1 year you came as John Wick, just out of nowhere.
That was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then you came as Ant-Man during the heist when you stole the costume. I think Daredevil, when you came as Matt Murdock. Daredevil was the best, because that man just had a suit put together, carried a cane, and bought some glasses and colored them red, and we're all just like, I'm sitting here like, I built a Winter Soldier arm for 2 months. I'm like, get out of here.
It's amazing how many comic book characters you look like.
Oh man, he said he's got a Wonder Woman David Finch sketch.
Oh god, I'd kill to have a David Finch.
We didn't have that kind of money when Finch came around to Expo, so we didn't get any of the sketches, but anybody we saw with one, we stopped him and made him show it to us because that man is beautiful. Beautiful art. He actually said he wasn't doing anything on the spot, but a couple of times it was calm and he did some remarks for people. He actually did it for Mr. More Treasure in Her Chest, Scoot's first commission from Expo.
You know he's got money.
Oh man, Lexington. Where's Lexington Comic Con?
Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh, that's Lexington Steel
Comic Con.
I'm not coming to that. September 9th. So you guys are still having it. That's cool because they canceled the one here. Lexington, Kentucky. That shouldn't be too far. Kentucky's not. Kentucky's long and slender, just like Tennessee.
We're in Tennessee, Memphis. So.
Yeah.
We're half my fan base.
That's I actually went to Mammoth Caves and backpacked there this year. Lovely state. But dude, yeah. Don't tip me with a good time of talking nerd. That's like Scoot. He's like, hey, I'm gonna do streams. Like, cool. What do you need from me? After I bought you all the equipment, which actually I didn't. We had a friend buy the camera for us. But he was like, come on and just talk. And I mean, clearly that's all I've been doing. We kind of got sidetracked from talking about Stegman and Cates, but
it always happens.
But yeah, like I like talking. I'd say Mark and I think we missed August, but we usually have a meetup where it's, you know how you have like the two incredibly smart characters who meet in the park and play chess once a month and then talk about the things they're doing in the world. That's Mark and me, just not the super smart part or the chess part. We just sit and talk about comics and talk about what we like. And like, contrary to when we're around people and kind of play it up, it's like we're usually just in there with our smoking jackets on, blowing bubbles out of our pipe, and we're just like, yes, this Hickman run has been quite exceptional. And like,
yeah, y'all talk about Hickman a lot.
We both write. He writes long form like prose and stuff, and novels and short stories, and I write comics clearly. But we still talk about story structures and stuff. So we get into like comics and different things and analyzing. And this is exactly what we do. We just go super in depth and like even, I mean, a good example of how good his knowledge is. I was like, hey, I bought Fantastic Four 267. He's like, oh, that's the one where Mr. Fantastic goes to meet Otto and help him save his daughter. And I'm like, why do you know that? He's like, it's a killer cover. And I'm like, okay. So it's in Hickman we trust. Yeah, 5 hours is nothing to drive. I drove 12 to Orlando, then 4 to Homestead. Iker refused to meet me. Now that he's not in the chat, you guys send Iker DMs and tell him he's a bad person for not wanting to meet me in Florida. He actually was his family was sick, so
yeah.
Good call.
Him and his family were sick.
Yeah. But then he calls, he's like, yeah, I was setting up my pool, and I was like, I'm really mad now. Yeah, Aaron, there's a funny thing that people have been doing memes lately about how, like, in the UK, people are like, oh my god, I gotta drive 45 minutes somewhere, I'm not going. And Scoot will call me out and be like, hey man, you want to come for a bike ride? And I'm like, yeah, give me 40 to get out there. And
yeah,
like,
Aaron, you're right.
We don't think twice about driving 4 or 5 hours just for fun.
You can play King Duppy's real estate agent on any available streaming platform.
That was very seamless.
How's everybody doing out there? Y'all still hanging in there? Where are we at?
It's done.
We're
just hot now.
Hour and a half in. I'm getting a lot more detailed than I thought I was going to get.
Oh, Scoob got detailed. Who the hell saw that coming?
I didn't.
Are you going to render it all on this? Let me see. So, getting back to Cates, there was, let's see. He did Thor. I think it was this one. And he did a very great issue that was just about an old dude picking up the hammer. Maybe it's this one. Nope, that's number 3. These all out of order. I don't know. It's somewhere. Oh man, Chadwick Boseman, the saddest death of 2020.
Our dad died in 2020.
You gotta have a sense of humor. Yeah, so
Aaron, we always appreciate you staying as late as you did.
dude, Aaron was a G, man. We did that. So Aaron and I, we won't talk about it a lot because you gotta pay for it and you should pay to have to get the stuff. But him and I are taking Scott Snyder's Substack comic writing course, which if you have any interest in writing, sign up for it. His first live stream alone was worth the money. But Aaron, like, I'm over here, so I get up early and I work out, then I go to work, and then I go and I run, and then I go and I go home and I usually chill out or write. And this man starts at 8:15 our time and goes till about 10:30, 10:45. You gotta remember, Aaron's 6 hours ahead of us, so that man's waking up in the middle of the night. I mean, the milkman hasn't even dropped anything on his front porch. He hasn't had his first cup of tea.
Oh no,
It's
no
early.
tea.
It's early for him, and
Maybe no
that
drink
man
tea?
was up, and me and him were just hyped. Like, so spoiler: Greg Capullo was a special guest on the first one, and I love it because we got a little chat going because the chat on there is just a dumpster fire. It's going too fast. There's no point in trying to keep up. And Aaron and I both at the same time, we both get a "oh shit" that comes through. Is it gonna be Capullo? It's gonna be Capullo. And here he is, the buff
Greg
Buff-
fucking Capullo.
Bill Goldberg himself.
Dude, have you ever heard him play guitar too? He can
Oh, yeah.
shred.
So I have two comic related goals. I want to make comics, of course. I want to make comics. I want people to read them and love them. And the second one is I want to be lumped in. There's like a group of people. Greg Capullo, Frank Cho a little bit. He's been working out. He's a
Yeah.
pretty buff guy. Deodato Jr. They're all like, they all do martial arts. They're all really buff. And it's always one of those, like, some fan's going to come up and step to him one day and find out. And they're going to get
You'll find
whooped.
out.
And I want to be lumped into
They don't
that.
even know what they're gonna find. They're just gonna
They're
find
gonna
out.
fuck around and find out it's full time. But I want them. Is it Crumpet's still cold?
Still-
No, but he had the peg legged. But
oh god, I'm going to watch Great Mouse Detective right now.
but he but I want, like, those people always, you think about, like, fans can be rude to people, and one day somebody's gonna be rude to Greg Capullo or Deodato Jr. and they're just gonna snap that nerd like a twig. And I want them to be like, everybody, I want some group of nerds to be talking, be like, who do you think you could take in a fight? And like, I don't know, but I definitely couldn't take Greg or couldn't take Capullo or Deodato. And they're like, man, have you seen Brad? I wouldn't sleep on that dude either. He can crush me. I want to be part of.
Goal achieved.
I want to be part of the buff comic creators where they're just like, nah, you don't mess with him. I want to be the one who always, like, wears the tank top to the conventions. And
Ryan Stegman been working on the gun
Stegman
show.
been working on it, yeah. So it's gonna be that's the goal. So be buff and have people enjoy my stories. Either order is fine. I'll take it wherever. But
Like, man, your stories suck, but you got some big old muscles.
they're like, I really didn't like it. I just flexed, and they're like, that you are not writing 6 issues a month.
Could you sign my chest?
Yeah, I just want to bounce. I think it was Hickman who was talking about he was going to drop kick kids if they criticize his comics at a convention. I think he took it down, but my terrible Great Mouse Detective voice there. I was thinking about on the way here is I like
Big
Captain.
butts in a can.
Well, no, I like Captain Britain. Clearly, Aaron and I want to get a series going, but I'm like, similar to, I would love to cosplay the War Machine. I would like to be in that big suit, the variable threat suit, walking around a convention. But because I want to be Rhodey, I'm not Iron Man when he fought the Masters of Silence. I could never open my visor because you open your visor and you're like, there's a white dude.
And you're in blackface.
And no, we're not doing that. So if I ever cosplay,
It's okay, we can say that. We have Dwayne in the room.
If I'm-
But you're gonna do it right.
Yeah.
Is it? We're not. No. We're not getting canceled 6 streams in. You guys stop talking about.
You're gonna have to leave.
If I ever cosplayed the War Machine, James Rhodes, I would never open my visor. Same rule kind of applies for Captain Britain. Like, if somebody's like, "Hey, Captain Britain, can I get your picture?" I'm just gonna nod to him because I'd be like in there like, "Hello, governor," and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like, I'd offend everyone I know, including like American people. Like, we should have lost the war because of you. And we know this is where we were going. So if I remember Captain Britain, I'm never gonna speak until I'm out of costume. I'll have, maybe I could have like Aaron record me some voice clips and then I could play them. But yeah,
Get like a little trigger to go off.
I just have a little button and it's just like, yeah, sure, no problem, but with a British accent. Yeah, so buff folks. What else do I have in
Somehow I got an ink mark on this picture.
imagination? I think I'm through with all my show and tell. Because the rest of this is just the full Venom Thor run, things like that. So we can deviate. Oh, so Aaron, something else Scott Snyder talked about was how long his early scripts were, how he over described everything and tried to have too much control. He even included like tons of photo references. And I was telling Aaron about the first scripts I wrote for Scoot, which are for the Atlas Beetle. I've actually written up through issue 9. So the first issue of the Atlas Beetle is 22 pages. And my first script for it was about 54 pages. It was huge. And that's 10-point Arial font or whatever. Like, it is ridiculous. It was way too long. I remember I eventually went through and tapered it down, but I got into like where Maxwell McCandless, the Atlas Beetle, he's not the Atlas Beetle yet, but that's his secret identity. He's sitting at a lab table with his mentor, and I was like, yeah, there's a cup and it's got several pencils in it, and there's a clock on it. And I'm just like, I described every damn thing in the room, talked about every single thing, and which sounds like maybe you do that if you were with a new artist, but man, I couldn't believe, like, it there's no reason for that. Scoot knows, like, if I say, hey, make a lab table, I had to mention that there was a clock or he needed to have his phone on the table because he needed to notice the time. So when I revised the script, a paragraph of text was like, hey, he's sitting at his lab table, make sure he has some way to know what the time is. And that was it.
I said, I'm not going to do that. We're going to do something else.
Yeah, so it was really bad. You're a wizard, Harry. So I told you I'd tell you a story about issue 2. So issue 2 is kind of issue 1 is the inciting incident. It's all the lead up to him getting his powers, and I won't spoil how he gets them. Second issue, he's testing his powers, and he's kind of in like a proto suit, so he's not in the full Atlas Beetle suit you guys have seen. He's just wearing like a full like Zentai suit and a balaclava, so he's covered up. But he goes out and he's like, I'm gonna stop crime. He's going out testing his powers, sort of in a similar way to like Daredevil with the Man in Black suit, Matt Murdock. And I have a fight scene where he goes, there's just some people like mugging this guy, and it's just a standard setup. You know, I wanted to show him fighting people, and I think I made it to where it's like 7 dudes beating up this one guy. What I should have done,
I was like, why?
What I should have, yeah. What I should have done is written, hey, there's a fight scene, I need this and this to happen. Like halfway through it, he gets hit with a baseball bat, like somebody sneaks up on him, and he gets cracked. And I should have been like, hey, he starts fighting, he's doing a good job, but then they sneak up at him with a bat, then they think they got him, and he fights his way out, and then the cops show up. Very loose. That's what it looks like now, and I think now it says, if you read my original script, I hope you forgot it. And if you remember it, throw it in the trash with Philip's Smash game.
I know they'll probably never be published because Brad says he doesn't want scripts published, but the notes that he leaves me are freaking hilarious. I laugh at the notes.
Yeah, so a couple, like when Matt Seaborn, of course, asked for a few of my scripts, which I've been horrified to ask how he enjoyed them or not. But I had to go back and read through and make sure I didn't put anything offensive, because we write stupid stuff to each other, and I just didn't want them to hit Matt the wrong way. But that fight should have been a paragraph and say, hey, you've got 3 pages. At the end of the page, it needs to end with this so we can move into the page 15 or whatever. Instead, what I did was wrote about, it was a 3-page fight, and I think I wrote about 10 pages. I drew a diagram, a heads-up diagram of where everybody was placed. I numbered every single one of the thugs he was fighting, and the victim, and Maxwell. I drew storyboards for it, which I stand by the storyboard. It's a decent, helpful thing. But then I described every single movement and what every single guy was doing on each panel. I was like, Maxwell runs in, he's jumping, he's kicking thug number 3, thug number 4 is reacting, 7 hasn't seen it yet, and it was awful. I've still got it. I wrote it long form too. I wrote it on a notebook, and I cut it down when I digitized it. But it was a complete and utter catastrophe.
And what's crazy, to show you how big of a noob I was too, I didn't really know to say, hey man, I can you don't have to say all that. I was like, all right, cool. I know exactly what I need to draw now.
And one thing, clearly, so Scoot likes detail, so I have to be careful what I tell him to detail because he's going to spend a century on it. And I'm like, so it was definitely a learning process. And now, like, for example, in I think the page we're going to show us drawing, or Scoot's going to be drawing it for B Movie Saga issue 1, for number 1, we're going to draw the fight scene. And it's just, I think it's just a page.
Yeah.
And so in it, I was like, hey, she's fighting 4 people, 4 aliens. Here's what she's doing. About midway through, this happens. In the page here, it's going to pick up next one. And it's 3 very short paragraphs, and it's only 3 paragraphs because it has a beginning, middle, and end. I'm like, she ducks this, and then they're fighting. Make sure she's winning, but she's not just owning everybody. She's taking her hits too. And so, you learn to trust the artist, and then 2, you got to learn that you don't need to put every single thing in there. And the thing is if you do that for every single panel, for every single page, when you really, really need it, it gets lost in the noise. So, like, for Wilder Talents number 1, a big, like, visual cue is that one of the characters carries a key on, like, a carabiner on their jeans. And I was like, make sure these keys, whenever that character is visible from the waist down, you have those keys. We need them in the shot. And so that wasn't lost. It showed that I was very particular, but if you're particular about everything, the artist is going to start cutting stuff out. So it was definitely a learning curve.
I've definitely, coming from the art side of it, like, I've definitely learned to kind of recognize that now. We've talked about it before with the B-Movie Saga preview we're going to be releasing. There's been plenty of times where I said, well, what if I tried this? Because Brad had something maybe that he thought he wanted to see, and I said, well, what if we try it this way? It still conveys the same message, but it's going to make more sense on the page art wise. But that's also a good thing about having working with someone that you can mesh with. It may not end up being your brother, but like we're lucky enough to do. But
Aaron's already claiming he won this one.
huh?
So, Hayashi, if you're still in the chat, N. Wilkinson is our cousin, Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
He's the reason we'll never call you Nathan. And anyway, Hayashi is a super cool name, so we're going to stick with that. Corey is learning that he's the samurai who lets his sword rust in the scabbard, and then he comes out when he needs to. Aaron, I have never shared a script with you, I don't think. I probably should. I can probably send you the same 4 I sent to Matt, because they're ones that you can read, and I think you would read and enjoy. And I can even send you the first B-Movie Saga we did, then send you Scoot's pages that went with it, and you could compare and see how he interpreted my script. I will say that one is, gosh, when we do that, 2017.
Yeah.
I won't send any of that.
Be kind when you critique those pages.
Yeah, and that's fun. He could see how you've improved. I'm sure he could look at it and see, like, oh, he did this worse, or
there's some of the stuff on those pages that I still really like, but there are some that I just cringe at.
Yeah, and I mean that same way. Like when I look back, I was like, why did I do the word bubble that way, or why did I write this? And so it's definitely one of those things where I think when we print B-Movie Saga 2, it's going to be good to see it next to the first one, because you can see, like, dang, they've had 3 years and they're way better now. So
you can definitely see improvement.
But yeah, I can send you some. I sent him B-Movie Saga's first script. I sent him a short 8-page story I wrote that I wanted to do like a Twilight Zone anthology where it was all like cerebral and kind of thriller. It's called Submitted for Your Approval. It's about the Vartigura, a type of kind of ghost or premonition from I don't know, some Scandinavian or something, some mythology, but it's about a woman kind of descending into madness, which I want to find an artist for, but I don't think I have any kind of clout to where I can make a story where you're just reading someone's inner monologue, even for 8 pages, and engage someone. So I'm saving it for later because I like it. I'll send you. I did a portfolio story. Funny enough, I wrote Scoot a portfolio story within the Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows universe, and I stand by it.
It's super.
It's a solid.
It's
a solid portfolio story. Like if Marvel ever needed a backup story, I could do that. That's what is it, 6 pages, I think. Yeah. It would be a fun 6-page story to reintroduce the Renew Your Vow universe. And I also sent him Wilder Talents #1, the new series I'm working on with KF here in town, and I think it's good. It's fun. That series and B Movie Saga, I've started writing full scripts at the same time, and I feel so much better just like flowing with them and getting my ideas out and figuring out what arcs are about and all that stuff. Everybody's claiming it.
What are they doing?
James now said, "Why are you guys claiming it? I won." Well, what we do is we can have the Brute Studios convention where everybody comes to Memphis, and we'll have it in we'll have a ladder match. We'll have it in a briefcase, and you guys can just fight for it. A great challenge match, yeah. Yeah, so I can send you those because, like I said, I think like the portfolio story shows I can tell a story in a short amount of time. B Movie Saga shows how I thought I could tell a story in a short amount of time, and it's also a real simple story. Submitted for Your Approval is a non-comic, a non-superhero, no cape, no super crazy adventure. It's like Twilight Zone, where I took a story and told it with one supernatural element, and then Wilder Talents is me older and wiser, hopefully. Did Brad just say flow? You can listen to the album with the greatest flow real estate agent by
I'm telling you guys, it's going to be the best.
Oh, yeah. So Mark's going to break in. He's going to break in wearing his Future Foundation Spider-Man outfit. Just come through the carrying that gigantic... He has the Goblin Cleaver that... I forget its real name, but or its elven name that Gandalf carries.
Goblin Cleaver.
I'm gonna come through that in the anomalous Rockhound pickaxe he has on his mantle. I don't know if that's home defense or what, but yeah. HG's that costume. HG's. The Hooter Girls. Oh god. Oh, if you guys didn't hear. Corey, where Corey's at, a crazy tornado actually hit. It hit about like in Iowa. I think it cleared out like 200 miles. It hit no houses, no one was injured, and they only lost corn. So it was about $2 billion of corn loss.
Corey's trampoline was turned sideways.
Yeah, I like what he said. Look at that idiot's trampoline. Oh,
that's my house.
And then somebody's walking around in a space helmet, protecting themselves from debris. Like, everybody says Florida is its own world. Iowa seems that way too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was probably a weather machine by Harvest Dent who was trying to kill Captain Iowa. Corn.
Harvest Dent was one of my favorite moments.
I almost left. Got up and just walked out of the room. What's a high V? I don't know what that is.
Huh?
He said, what if I get you a high V shopping spree? And I'm like,
that's a gas station up north, I'm pretty sure.
Aaron, I'll have to take your advice on the Goblin Cleaver, or take your word. I'm not sure, and I'm not looking it up. This is, these conversations are literary fiction, which literary fiction, if you know, subjective literary fiction, where you write a story based on a real event, but you in no way try to go back and confirm the events. You write them from your point of view, and don't worry about the facts. Like, I'm writing a story that actually took place with us three and our sister and our two parents in a god-awful part of Tennessee called Martin.
You're writing a story from Martin?
Oh, it's about when we almost got in that wreck, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
bought the
yeah.
Mon Calamari officer from Power of the Force 2.
It was righteous.
And I'm just writing a story from how I remember it. And the thing is I remember it because I was looking at the toy. I wasn't paying attention. I just heard, I look up and we're in like the median and there's a car that's crashed beside us. So it's fun to tell a story. And that's how we are here. Who cares about facts? Like, I read these books, but I don't care. I'm not going to go back and be like, make sure, oh, this is how Donny specifically put it. But, ooh, let's do some, I can do a dramatic reading. So if you guys, getting back on Kate's, if you've never read Thor, Kate's Thor has the best narrative, third person, omniscient narrative in comics today. At least that I've read. It is absolutely incredible. It informs the story the entire time and does nothing but build on it. I'm trying to find a certain issue because it so in issue 4, so if you haven't read it, spoiler alert, Thor is a herald. He is the herald of Galactus at the end during this. Galactus has come to warn him that there's something coming called, I'm pretty sure the Black Winter is coming to destroy the universe, and he imbues him with the power cosmic, which you have to understand right now, Thor is king of Asgard, so he has the Odin Force right now as well, so Thor is just buck wild strong, like crush Thanos' head between his thighs strong, and they're going, and Galactus has these certain planets he needs to consume because they have a certain power. And with those powers, he'll be strong enough to repel the Black Winter and save the universe, the 616. In it, they go to this planet, and these people don't want to leave. They don't want to leave the planet because Thor's saying, "Hey, we're going to kill these planets, but we're going to get everybody off, and they're going to be refugees on Asgard." And I'm going to read. So at a certain point, they're trying to talk. He's trying to be diplomatic and say, "Hey, you need to get off this planet because we're going to kill him." He's like, "No, we're not leaving." And Galactus is like, "You're too late. The Black Winter's here." So Thor decides that he has no choice. He has to stop the Black Winter. So what he does is he pulls out this big like Wonderbolt, and it says, let me see where I should start for this. It says, "To look into the Black Winter is to witness your own fate, to see the form of your true death. For the King of Cryo, as with Galactus, it looks very much like Thor. But for the God of Thunder himself, there will only be darkness." And he's wrapping his eyes up because he knows Thor's about to do something he doesn't want to do. And this is what separates Thor from other Avengers, is what makes him worthy is he knows sometimes he has to sacrifice. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And it says, "And lo, in the darkness, there was lightning. Thor's newfound power cosmic roars through his veins and into his enchanted Uru. The resulting blast, fired into the heart of the falling black storm, could shatter entire continents. Here, it buys Galactus exactly 14 seconds to devour the planet's core. And for the denizens of Cryo, it buys them nothing." And immediately he does it just to save him, and then they absorb it, and he kills every single person on the planet. And I remember reading that, and I mean, like right now, goosebumps. It's just, you could tell it where he's like, "I have to shoot this bolt, I can't save them." But that narration is so exceptional. And I remember reading that. So when I started reading this, I was writing a story that's about to come out with a guy named Dale Martin here in town. And he asked me to write a narration. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I can have one of the characters narrate." And he's like, "I kind of wanted an omnipotent narrator." And I was like, "Oh God." So I started trying to read up on him, and I remember I wrote the narration. I had put it into the comic as like, I kind of bubble it in myself to send to him. And then I read the first 5 issues of Thor by Donny Cates, and I deleted it and rewrote it because it taught me how your the point of third person omniscient narration is to sneak in exposition. Exposition is not fun when it's overt, and how he hid the exposition inside that third person narration was just fantastic. And just that's mom. She's you got some chocolate milk too?
Oh,
That's mom.
the whole family's over
She's
here.
the creator of all of us fine folks.
She's
It's
drinking
annoying,
chocolate milk too. She knows about the fine stuff.
but yeah, he how he did that really taught me, like, it was a master course on narration and how you can go back and you compare it to certain things, you talk about certain things, but the entire time the narration can almost seem like it's not talking about the story, but you bring it home and wrap it up and show how it's talking about how it informs the story. It's almost like telling a parallel story that heightens the main story, and that's what Kate's taught me. Throw it out the window.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
But yeah, I don't have a voice for narration, but I thought that's still worth it. Like, it's even I couldn't screw that up. That's where you got it, and that's a very different narrative voice, a very different structure to how he wrote Venom, which shows he's not like a one-trick pony. All of his stuff doesn't sound. It's like Dan Brown is a good example. Dan Brown, one of the most popular writers on the planet. Every book he puts out's an immediate bestseller, but dude's got a style. His main characters are very similar. His dialogue's very similar. His plots are very similar. Kate's doesn't fall into that. Kate's is, he's each of his comics feels different. Each of them feels purposeful for the characters he's writing for. Thor's very different from Venom. Venom's very different from Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange's very different from Silver Surfer. So you get a lot of really great stuff with that. Yeah, yeah. He said, "We know nothing about this character, and Scoot's capturing the vibe."
Yeah, thanks, man. It's been tough.
Yeah, and I told Scoot it was very similar. He was, because I told him, I was like, the whole joke has been that Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman were going to be in the chat, and it's an ongoing joke. But of course, Scoot's also, if you guys didn't watch that stream, Stegman promised him a variant cover for Vanish. So the Supple Boys said they're going to keep him to it. So this is like an audition almost. I mean, so I told Scoot, I sent him, I was like, "Hey man, have you been working on the outline?" Because of course he sketches and stuff. You can't just freehand
actually, I got it right here. So
yeah, so
here's the rough that I did last night. Kind of get myself ready for today.
Yeah, so he always has to be, he's a little prepared. He never comes into this just blind, because we tried that a lot with the what's that? Oh, we did that a lot with the Instagram stuff, and it really, like, the first 30 minutes was him figuring it out. It's not really that interesting. So we streamlined the process a little, and I was just like, "Hey man, don't overthink it. Just do it. You've been killing these streams. People love the art. Just do it." And do his, he's like, "The only thing I'm struggling with is the lack of reference." And after doing that trying to enter that dragon rage, I was like, I get it. Having to make characters off of very little, not nothing, because it's there. And Dragon Rage had a lot of substance, but it's still like, having my first time trying to write someone else's character for a contest when there was one issue and a plot synopsis was tough.
Yeah, and I'll tell you too, it was good that and we really haven't even talked about the whole Substack thing. So, which
Aaron said it's been tough and quoted piss off Scoot.
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. But the other day, Stegman posted 2 of the variant covers from Scotty Young and Daniel Warren Johnson, and that kind of helped. It just showed the character from a different angle, and that's kind of what I needed. Like this area here, I don't know if that's his hair or if he's got like a fur collar or something. I can't tell, but I just know there's like this wild looking hair stuff. So I'm treating it right now kind of like it's a collar, kind of coming off of his main cape. And then I've got just his regular long hair just kind of tucked in almost. So Yeah, the lack of reference was the thing I was struggling with. But I can tell you, if I do actually end up getting a variant cover, I'm gonna kill the shit out of that thing. I'm not gonna mess that up. And speaking of variant covers, we should they should be showing the Fathom variant cover in 2 weeks on Tuesday. So not this coming Tuesday, but the Tuesday following. And then I'll be able to plaster that thing all over social media.
Yeah. It's an awesome interview. What do you think of Venom? Mark said his interview question, what do you think of Venom and what are your measurements? He said the second part isn't too much of a joke. They got to do the uniform. I can imagine you like deep sighing and you're like, you have to try this on. I'm so sorry. And they're like, that's all right. I feel like it's so skin tight. I feel like I'm Tom Hardy in Venom, and you're like, you're too fat. You know. Nathan, I understand if you. Yeah, I have not forgotten about that logo. The touch ups you're gonna do or did. He actually did a separate logo scoot that's pretty cool too that I think you got to check out. But
Oh, cool.
I haven't forgotten about it, but I also understand you have a child and a wife and 2 jobs and workout and all this other stuff. So I'm not just gonna.
So he needs it by tomorrow.
Yeah, your J. Crew photo shoots run late, and like, so I'm not gonna be a jerk who's like, hey, remember that free graphic design help you gave me? Where is it? Like, I'm not gonna wear you out on that. Modeling career.
Yeah, we just hit the 2-hour mark, so I'm gonna keep going because this is almost done. I just got to finish this hand.
Yeah, because you're not doing like full body cover quality. It's just gonna be a.
No, it's a sketch.
Dude looks like he has a poncho, and ponchos are always a good call. So our hope is Scoot will do a variant cover, and when they're like, well, we just don't want to credit both of you, or credit Scoot Starnes, so they're gonna put the Starnes brothers and let me do like a backup story.
Or they're like, do you have anything original?
Dude, I'm still riding the high from Penelope giving me a high five at the end of the week. See, that's, man, I was reading her like Hop on Pop and stuff. I should have been reading her Thor narrations. Get her ready for that. The Goddess of Thunder. Yeah, it's sketch. Damn it, Scoot. Scoot says sketch in the same way. Like, I have a run group, which I've been trying to get him to come in the stream because we could talk about different stuff. And the run group is the other part of my life. There's like comics and running, and that's what I do. And we have a thing where people are like, hey, what do you want? Like, tomorrow we're getting up and we're doing a run. They're like, how long are you gonna run? I was like, oh, it's just a 10-miler. And for us, that's not too long. But then people always go, just 10 miles? I'm like, yeah, it's just a 10-miler. It's no big deal. And that's the same thing as Scoot's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this like little sketch. And then does something that none of us can do. It just destroys us.
It's definitely a sketch. If you get up close, you'll see how, again, I get it because I see David Finch do a sketch and I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, oh my god.
But if you get up close and you look at it compared to my cover quality stuff, then yeah, it's much different.
So here's the new one from Mark. Everybody else got a real estate agent playing in the background. If you support the fight against COVID-19 and wish to have Thanksgiving dinner, you should listen to King Duppy's real estate agent out. It's King Duppy, right? Like, that's how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
King Doopy.
It said it's like Gordon Ramsay said he whipped up a snack. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then if I submit this to @David Finch, what do you think of my drawing? He just tears it apart.
Speaking of running, I'm sorry, I'm gonna text for a second. I'm running the long run tomorrow. I'm leading it, so I gotta send him the details.
Yeah. I don't think my head's gotten in shot much this one.
Nope, not at all.
Getting better, guys. If I could ever get a mic setting that I actually like, where there's no echo and everything, we'd be golden.
Yeah, Mark. Always my go-to lines is when they're like, "Do you draw?" I'm like, just conclusions or draw attention to myself." So. I actually said just send it to him real quick. He just needs to look at it up close. He'll send it back. I like that there's gonna be like a 3-way knife fight for this. It's gonna be like in Dark Knight Rises, like snap a pool cue.
Is that what you said that they're talking about?
Oh, for a while, yeah. Everybody's been claiming that they won it.
Oh, okay. I thought they were talking about the drawing at the beginning. I was like, man, that was
No.
that was 2 hours
That
ago.
was Dallas. Dallas won it. Tell him, like, hey, I'm gonna draw another name. Whoever gets it wins this. Wins the Vanish sketch, and it's your preliminary sketch.
Yeah. Hey, I'll sell you the rough sketch for $100. This has been super fun to draw, though.
Nathan, he chose this because Donny, the people we've been talking about, Ryan Stegman and Donny Cates, who I've been going through my stack of fandom. They're doing a new creator-owned comic called Vanish, and they've got a bunch of new superheroes. And I guess they're superheroes. They got a lot of new characters. And Scoot just, I mean, there's a bandwagon, and you jump on it when things are hot. You jump on it. So he's also a really fun design. He's right up Scoot's wheelhouse. Fun fact: we tried to Scoot and I were trying to enter the Top Cal talent search together when they did the Darkness, but we learned about it like a day before it was due, so we didn't. And there's a lot of that 90s darker character feel to this guy, Oliver. And so, I mean, as soon as you see it, you're like, yeah, Scoot could draw that. That's no big deal. Cool.
All right, I think we're wrapped.
Just erase it now in front of everybody and crush it. Watch them all die a little inside.
I don't know how I got an ink smudge up here, but
There it is. Let it. Post it up, tag him. So here's my first swipe.
throw a signature on.
It's really God Country's such a fun idea and so original that and I mean it's almost a Twilight Zone episode, how it's this very real issue of dementia and how they're dealing with it, and how like the son's dealing with it and his wife's dealing with it and their kids dealing with it.
Here we go.
But then
We're
you
gonna get a little
throw
closer
in
now. You'll see how sketchy it
you
is.
throw in that sword and all the cosmic stuff that comes with it. It's just crazy. Oh, guys, look at how rough and gross those pencils are. Oh, just what a sketch. So everybody make sure to give it a thumbs down now, because it's just no detail at all.
Give a thumbs down. If we find out who it was, you win it. That's not true. Don't thumbs down this.
I read that
Dead
one of my
us.
kids' name's Oliver, and I was like, Stegman's really in the chat! It was Corey. If they hear it, they're just going to hear me in here, like, circle jerking them and leave.
Yeah.
Or maybe listen to it and, like, get pumped. Yeah, that's a pretty great piece.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I mean, looking at it, it makes me really want to go listen to King Duppy's new album,
Yeah,
Real Estate Agent.
available on all music platforms. Thumbs up. Everybody throw an OYO in the chat for him. Let him know he's a beast. He said it'd be great next to my David Finch piece. I
Hey, if you're going to put me next to a David Finch piece,
think we found our winner. Just throw that up. Do a bidding contest.
Hey, I'll trade you this for that David Finch piece.
Oh my god.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
I can fly. Pilot. Dude, maybe you should auction that off. Just get people to bid on it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it'll definitely be for sale. So, most of the artwork I do, unless it's a commission, is for sale.
Because in theory it was for conventions, but we haven't had one of those in a while.
Yep. Do a few more trickling pieces here.
And Nathan, if you haven't seen your wife and daughter much this week, much alone, or been able to work out, the logo is low priority. Aaron, you can outbid everybody because the gross British pound's stronger than the dollar.
Before I switch over, I do have an update on the piece I was working on last time, the Spider-Man and Venom.
Oh, I thought you meant the auction piece. I was like, oh, I don't know about this.
No. So Spidey's done.
Christ. Sweet Christmas.
Well, actually, they're both done, but
Good Lord.
I just gotta.
I hadn't even seen this.
I just gotta do the rubble.
You guys, you can't fight over this one. It's commissioned.
Yeah, this one's sold. Sorry, guys.
Ketchup chips. You lost, Hayashi. Hayashi's removed from every raffle from now on.
One bag of ketchup chips. You could have just said one bag of ketchup. I could put it on my tuna fish.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys heard the collective disgust in this room.
Get out of here. Any update on the view we saw review?
No.
Oh.
That's what I'll be working on this week. So I'm on vacation this week. So I'm gonna finish this up, which is just the rubble at the bottom. That won't take much time.
Shane's got a question for you.
And then I'll finish that B-movie saga piece. Okay. Commissions. So when am I doing those? So I did want to take August and part of September, actually probably most of September, while we're thumbnailing the actual first issue of B-movie saga. I'll probably be doing some commissions in between. So keep a watch out because I am going to post some up. I have a vacation coming up in October, and it'd be nice to have some extra money for it. So be sure to watch my Instagram posts, my Twitter posts. I'll post up on both. I mean, I'll probably say something, hey, like I'm taking 5 pieces or 10 or so, something like that. So.
Yeah. I forget KLC's Canadian.
Kelsey there.
She likes ketchup chips. All right, let's not. We all like milk. Let's just all agree on that one.
I need my I need a chocolate milk bitch to bring me some chocolate milk.
Oof. That might not have been the term you used. I
didn't say a specific person. You just jumped to a conclusion. All right, let's bring the folks back up. Bear looks like he's over there taking a shit. You do look like Vanish. Good lord. It's freaky.
Vanish, man.
Hey, do me a favor, pull your shirt up over your mouth real quick.
Over your hair and your eyes.
There it is. It's uncanny. It's uncanny, guys. And I'll bring up the Brad cam too, so that
so is he Dwayne?
Yeah. There we go.
Tucked away in the corner.
He's over here in the corner.
I half expected you to bring up Corey again.
Oh, it's coming.
Corey, I don't know what you were thinking giving us that picture.
Yeah. Hey, see you, Hallowfield, man. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh yeah, you're are you gosh, are you I almost said he was the Duck. The Ducks I'm wrong. You posted you got a jersey. I know you got one for your birthday.
And for the record, she's pouring me chocolate milk, but she's not a chocolate milk bitch.
Oh yeah. We got a
that's
Southern
my
mom.
mother.
We would never say that to her. There would be a right hook. So our mom is about 5'2", and I would not try to take her in a fight. Oh no, thank you. But I appreciate it.
No. Thanks for the compliment.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for birthing me.
Yeah. Thanks for the 9 month joyride.
Yeah. It was fun. right.
Oh,
That's it.
that's Mark. It's just standard Walmart milk, I think, or Kroger.
It's straight from Kroger. Theirs tastes like a melted fudge bar. That's really good. Well, I'm sure I will have something to do September 9th through the 12th. Unfortunately, I'm on vacation this week, but I work a 10 plus hour a day job 5 days a week usually, so. But I would love to come. That'd have been awesome.
Yeah,
We miss conventions a lot.
yeah, because
We miss them so much.
as much as I love sitting here and talking about stories and engaging you guys in the chat, it's way cooler in person. Just having people,
Yeah.
because you can get a little heated about stuff and get in little jokes and stuff. It's a lot more fun in person. Penguins. There we go. I don't know teams. I just picked the San Jose Sharks for my my team just because my friend doesn't like them.
He likes the Sharks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh God! Now we're talking about sports. Okay, it's time to get out of
Just
here.
shut the laptop and walk.
I'm just
Don't
gonna
even turn
give
the
up
stream
this.
off.
Thanks,
Just
guys. This is the
loud.
last stream.
It's gonna be like Snoop Dogg on Twitch. We just got it muted for 6 hours and don't know.
Art season sign has the best team.
Chicago Blackhawks. Oh,
The Nashville Child Predators.
all right.
Get him,
Any,
Steve Bob.
Any final thoughts? We're about 2 hours and 15 minutes in. So. Any final thoughts? We love Stegman. We love Kate's. Go subscribe to their Substack for Vanish. Actually, for everything they're going to have on KLC Press. So, kids love chains, and they love you. That's how they end all their little posts.
We need our own sign off for the weekly BS.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
Yeah, we start talking about sports. I'm gonna get real quiet.
Yeah, I
Let's
don't
talk
even know
about
how to
running.
respond to sports. Although I did enjoy the Olympics. The Olympics were baller.
We don't need to talk about my thighs either.
You guys want Brad to stand up real
Oh
quick?
gosh. No, we don't have to.
All right, you guys tell me real quick. Stand up, Brad. Okay, hold on. Let's do. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bring that. But King Duppy's new album, Real Estate Agent, is on all streaming platforms. So Brad Cam is off. So you guys tell me
Dude, hey, Kentucky for Bear. Sports are stupid.
which one is better.
Oh, God.
Corey at work or
Mobile unit one. It's heavy.
okay, let me get out of the way, guys. Get your screen captures ready.
My 4 inches. For
There we
you
go, guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give us a spin. Yep.
Like a.
Go ahead, give us a flex too. Oh my goodness, guys. So that's why I have him around.
Yeah.
Because I can't get there.
Should be the show from Oh, it feels nice to stand up in his couch like.
It's swarming. It's hot.
Death.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and sign off now that Brad's standing up. So there's a bunch of stuff to follow. First of all, King Duppy's new album, Real Estate Agent, is out on all streaming platforms.
I'm just laughing because I actually didn't stand up. Like, it wasn't a question.
Let me bring up the Brad Cam.
He commanded me.
Dwayne, any last words promoting your album? Turn the microphone to him so he can hear.
Oh no, I have it.
Okay.
No, I mean, if you guys want to stream it, if not, great. I appreciate the support. If you already been listening to Ice Shards, and there'll be plenty more coming out. I'll probably do a Christmas album.
A
This
Christmas album, Christmas Duppy.
So look forward
Miss
to
Scoot
that.
says bye too. All right, thanks, Dwayne.
I didn't realize that.
All right, and then if you haven't, obviously go follow me and Brad everywhere. I'm at Scoots Art everywhere. Brad's a bunch of other stuff. He's
Also
different.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Twitter.
follow him on Instagram at run7_co. And then if you're not already, follow our Brutes Studios account. I think I have a link.
Let me see.
I think I have a link in the description. I can't remember.
Yep.
Okay, yep. So everything that you need to follow is in the description. Go so follow that, like the video, all that fun stuff, all that social media, internet stuff. And then yeah, I'm on vacation this week, so we will be doing another stream sometime coming up soon. We already have a plan for that.
It's gonna have...
Yep, that'll have viewer involvement, crowd participation, and could possibly involve a giveaway of some sort. So we've been giving a lot of shit away.
Yeah. I mean, we're making the world a better place in a dark time,
Yeah, that's true.
and also getting followers. So
Speaking of dark time, King Duppy's new album. All right, guys. We're gonna sign off here, and we'll see you next time. Watch out for all our posts. I'm sure Corey will have this thing inked
he's probably halfway done, I think.
at some point. So,
Hey,
Listen.
Corey.
Corey, Ashley says hi. She says she can't wait to come visit you in Iowa,
Oh, God.
and that's a lie. All right, guys.
Next stream, the winner will get your sketch. Second place gets...
Hell yeah, there we go. Brad's gonna draw next stream, and I'm gonna talk about random stuff. So, all right, guys, we will see you next time. Peace.